Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this beautiful Friday Los Angeles City Board of Public Works meeting for January 21, 2022. I'm very good. Good morning, colleagues. Dr. Campos, can we establish quorum, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing quorum and roll call for today. We have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Caloza and Villegas. Mr. President, you do have a quorum at this time. Currently, we do have one caller on the line under general public comment. We have no commentary under the neighborhood comment section. We also have one caller on the line for item number 12, and we also have two individuals from the developer team on item number 5, should your board have any questions.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Campos. Would you say we don't have any general public comment?
We do. We have
one caller on the line. Okay, let's have general public comment.
Absolutely. Caller ending in 682, caller ending in 682, Dr. Williams, if you can please press star 6 at this time to unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is now considering general public comment. You will have 2 minutes to speak under this category. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council, Land Use and Development Committee. Regarding street improvements and construction, there's a new committee for street construction, golly gee whiz, but we also have street improvements, so there's somewhat bit of a confusion. I'd highly recommend that the Department of Public Works set up a web page online so that the public can find out what's going on in their area, perhaps either by CD district or by neighborhood council. The Department of City Planning does this already with a lot more projects than Department of Public Works has. So I'd highly recommend forming a homepage for street improvements and construction that is, say, updated every 2 weeks for the general public and other departments to see what's going on, just for coordination and timely announcements of what you're doing for our areas, because we don't get it at the neighborhood council nor at the land use and development committee. So we'd highly recommend, like the Department of City Planning, get a web page for street improvements and constructions and everything in the public right of way. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Any other callers, Dr. Campos?
Yeah, that clears the queue for general public comment.
Okay. So general public comment is now officially closed. Let's go ahead and move to take the minutes from Friday, January 7th, 2022. I'll motion to approve those minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Any objections or concerns, colleagues? All right, so hearing none, the minutes from Friday, January 7th, 2022 are approved and adopted forthwith. Let's jump right in. We have a full agenda, so let's take care of business. I'll tell you what we'll do for the benefit of some of our colleagues who are here. Let's start with items 6, 7, and 8. These are 3 contract acceptances, and we'll take these. Is our BCA representative on these items here?
Yes, Angela Martinez. Angela, if you can please turn on your video cam.
Miss Martinez, we always love seeing you.
You are so nice.
You're so nice. All right, so we'll take, Angela, we'll take 6, 7, and 8 together. I'll read through the agenda list, and then you could sort of summarize what we have with the 3 of them, okay?
Well, I was going to interject something earlier. I think Kimi Kawashima is going to present number 7 from BCA.
Oh, that's right. Okay, forgive me. Yeah, so we'll take 6 and 8. If Kimmy is here?
Yes, she is.
Okay, and then Kimmy will take item 8 after that, or item 7. So this is for 6 and 8. So item number 6, contract acceptance, emergency sewer storm drain repair quarterly acceptance report. Recommending the board accept the 209 sewer and 20 storm drain projects of the emergency sewer and storm drain repair program. Item 8 is a contract acceptance, Tiny Home Village, CD 13, Alvarado Street. Recommending the board accept this contract, work order E1908830. So, Ms. Martinez.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, commissioners. It's so nice to see you all. Thank you. I'm here for your acceptance of the 209 sewer and 20 storm drain projects of the Emergency Sewer and Storm Drain Repair Program. The summary table of emergency sewer repair projects are reported by contractor for work performed from January 9th, 2017 to July 2nd, 2021. The summary table of emergency storm drain repair projects completed and sorted by contractor from November 29th, 2017 to July 21st, 2021. Those are located in the project summaries table of the report. On November 21st, 2007, November 14th, 2012, and November 15th, 2017, the board adopted joint reports which established the program authorizing contracts with an on-call contractors to perform emergency sewer and storm drain repair work. This report represents 229 construction orders that were completed between November 2017 and July 2021, utilizing 20 on-call contractors in transmittals 2 and 3. The 229 construction orders represent a subset of the emergency sewer and storm drain work inspected by BCA during this reporting period. These emergency projects are initiated by the Bureau of Sanitation to make emergency and necessary repairs to the city's damaged sewer and storm drain systems. The projects range from $943 to $943.54 to $465,663.63, and range from sewer and storm drain mainline cleaning, which includes everything from small spot repairs to complete removal and replacement of mainline pipe. It also should be noted that the individual scope descriptions can be found on each respective construction order. The projects were performed either on a time and material and or agreed price basis and are funded by the Sewer Construction and Maintenance Fund. Thankfully, there are no funds disputed or withheld, and there are no unresolved property owners' complaints in connection with these projects. These projects are all emergencies, thus no specific MBE, WBE participation levels were established, and the contractors complied with all other EEO and labor compliance requirements. Thank you for accepting these projects.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Any questions or concerns, colleagues?
None for me.
All right. Dr. Campos, I'll motion to move items 6 and 8. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I think Calosa was first, so I'll give the second to Commissioner Calosa. Dr. Campos, you want to take roll, please?
Yes, and this is for items 6 and 8.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
go ahead and start the vote. President Good,
Aye.
Vice President Garcia,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Calosa,
Aye.
and Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Great to see you. Have a great weekend.
You too, everybody. Bye.
Bye. All right, Ms. Kawashima, we'll go ahead and take item 7. Item 7 is contract acceptance demolition of Parker Center Police Facilities Building. Recommending the board, 1, accept this contract. 2, assist Silverado Contractors, Inc. with a penalty in the amount of $2,700 for the unauthorized subcontractor substitution for 1 substituted SBE and EBE subcontractor. And 3, instruct the Director and Office of Accounting to disencumber and retain the recommended city penalty in the amount of $2,700 from the project. Work order E1908242. Hello, Ms. Kawashima. How are you?
Good morning, President Good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, and I apologize for our hit and miss yesterday, but so please forgive, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, President Good, Commissioners. BCA's recommendation for this project is to assess Silverado contractors with a penalty in the amount of $2,700 for the unauthorized subcontractor substitution of one substituted SBE and EBE subcontractor. The city approved the substitution of bid-listed subcontractor BMP Solutions with Green Vista Landscape to perform the development and installation of the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, totaling $27,000. Staff verified that Vista performed only $20,652.50 worth of work. Therefore, the contractor may be assessed a penalty of $2,700, which is 10% of the subcontractor's approved amount. Per the bid proposal requirements, Part 3, Section F2 subcontractors, any reduction, increase, or other change to any subcontract amount without prior approval of the inspector is considered an unauthorized subcontractor substitution and is subject to a penalty of 10% of the subcontract amount, whether bid listed or not. In a letter dated June 16, 2021, the OCC notified the contractor of the potential penalty being recommended. The contractor subsequently acknowledged receipt of the potential penalty letter, but no other communication was received regarding this recommendation. Therefore, staff recommends that the contractor be assessed a penalty of $2,700 for the unauthorized subcontractor substitution of Vista. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Kawashima. Any questions, colleagues? Vice President Garcia? Thank you. President Pro Tem Davis?
No questions for me on this item.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Villegas?
I have no questions either. Thank you for the report.
Thank you. And Commissioner Closa?
Thank you, President Good. Thanks for your report, Ms. Kawashima. Did I pronounce your name
Yes.
correctly? Just a few quick follow-up questions for me. Did we notify the contractor about today's hearing as well?
Yes, they were notified, and they said that they would not be attending.
Okay. So it sounds like they understand and accept the penalty being assessed. Okay. And they're not a first-time bidder, right? They're or a first-time contractor, I mean.
I do not believe so.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Closa. Do I have a motion to move? I don't have any questions, Ms. Kawashima. Do I have a motion to move the item forward?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Dr. Campos, would you like to take roll, please?
Absolutely. There's been a motion by Commissioner Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Davis to adopt item number 7. We'll take the vote at this time. President Good?
Aye.
Vice President Garcia?
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Caloza?
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas?
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Kawashima.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too, and have a good weekend, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's go back to the top of our agenda. We'll go to item number 1. Item number 1 is revised construction orders and change orders. And what I think we'll try to do is take items 1 and 2, or 1 and 3 together, y'all, because Mr. Huang is here on both, I believe. Item 1 is revised construction orders and change orders. Tomovich and Associates Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehabilitation for Sewers Program, Western Avenue 3700 project, recommending the board 1, authorize a construction budget of $197,000, including contingency, for the Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehabilitation for Sewers Program, Western Avenue project. And 2, authorize the city engineer to issue revised construction orders and change orders up to the authorized construction budget for this project, work order SWC 04958 C-130393. Item 3 is also revised construction orders and change orders, Matthew and Stewart Company, Inc., for the Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehabilitation for Sewers Program Main Street Project. Recommending the board, one, authorize a construction budget of $356,000, including contingency for the Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehabilitation for Sewers Program, Main Street Project, and two, authorize the city engineer to issue revised construction orders and change orders up to the authorized construction budget for this project. Work order SZC 14052 C-130391. These are both projects or items from the sewers program. How we managed to get such a perfect set of words together to make such a perfect acronym is beyond me, but it certainly works, Mr. Wong. So why don't you go ahead and summarize items 1 and 3 for us?
Certainly.
Please.
Good morning, President Good. Good morning, Commissioners. This is George Huang from the Bureau of Engineering Wastewater Conveyance Construction Division. I'll start with item 1 first, which is the work on Western Avenue project. So this first project is located on Western Avenue at the intersection of Exposition Boulevard. The work involves spot repairing about 15 linear feet of the existing 12-inch sewer, and also installing a liner along the reach after the work is completed. Part of this work, based on the schedule work and prices, it was the lowest bidder was Matthew and Stewart at $31,654. But at the time, because Masco already had more than 6 active construction projects, the Sewer 6 contract allowed us to issue the original construction order to Tomovich, which was the next subsequent lowest projected bidder. The part of the sewer work involves, it crosses over the Metro Exposition line, the E line, which is referenced in figure number 2. As a result of that, a right of entry permit is required in order for our contractor to work within the Metro's right-of-way. And part of the application process includes preparing a shoring plan and a traffic control plan, which had to be stamped in by a professional engineer and also reviewed by Metro staff. During the engineer review process, Metro also determined that they had to reduce the railroad tracks to a single track in order for our contractor to work. And the implementation of from dual to single railroad track can only be done during the weekends, between the 1:30 a.m. in the morning to 1:30 p.m. As a result, this additional cost for the contractor to work on the weekend, and outside of normal working hours, and also for the process of the Metro administrative fee for the engineering plan review, and also applying for the noise variance permit to work at night, added to the additional cost of this project. Therefore, this project now became an estimated cost of about $157,000, with a contingency of about $40,000. And that's we're coming to the board today to request a construction budget of $197,000 in order to issue the revised construction order in order to complete the work on this project. Because of the window that we had to do, the window that Metro gave us, we did get emergency authorization to start with the spot repair, and then the remaining work now left on this project is to do the lining work, which is anticipated to be by the end of this month. And that concludes my report for this item. Would you like me to do the other one now, or take a pause on this one?
Yes, please, Mr. Wong. You can go ahead and summarize item 3 as well.
Okay, certainly. The next item 3 is for this, also for the Sewer 6 project. This is the Main Street 300 project, which is located between 3rd Street and 4th Street. This involves a full repair and replacement of the existing sewer reach. This is about 430 linear foot long. The sewer pipe currently has severe liner deformation throughout the entire reach, which warrant a complete removal and replacement. And after the new pipe is installed, we'll reconnect a combination of 13 house connections. Based on the sewer schedule work and prices, Matthew and Stewart was the lowest bidder, 121,000, and Masco was issued the original construction order. The project being on Main Street is located in a street of significance, as identified by the Major Transit and Transportation Construction Traffic Management Committee, also known as TCTMC. The TCTMC required that traffic plans be reviewed and submitted to DOT and approved also by DOT and TCTMC prior to start of any of the construction work. Because of the high volume of traffic on Main Street, the work would typically be required from the contractor to work Monday through Friday between the night hours of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So as a result of the working outside of the core daytime hours, the sewers bid item requires us to apply a work by night factor to the bid item of the contract requirements. Therefore, the cost of preparing the traffic control plan and the TCTMC administrative fee, and also the additional night hours that are going to be applied to this work, put the cost of the project at $296,000 with a contingency of about $60,000. So therefore, as a result, we are requesting the board to approve a construction budget of $356,000 in order to complete the work on this project. As to date, the work hasn't started yet. We're still at the kind of the tail end at the TCTMC application process. And that concludes my report for this item as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Colleagues, do we have any questions or comments? We'll start with President Pro Tem Davis on items 1 or 3.
I wanted to ask in terms of item 3, the communication we've had with the council district, which office is it in De Leon's council district?
This is in Council District 14. So yes.
And obviously they're in support of the project, correct?
That's correct. Yes, they have been.
And what did you do? Yeah, I'm sorry. What did you say that was the timeline of a completion for the project?
The work is anticipated to take about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
We are actually, once the contractor can go in there and start the excavation work, we have about 3 weeks, let's say.
Okay. It's not that bad. Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. Appreciate your report, Mr. Wang. On item 1, what is the duration of that project, if it's already started? How much longer till it's finished?
The spot repair took about 2 days to complete, because we had to work. We only got like a weekend window to do it. The remaining work now is the lining work, and that will take about 1 day once we.
Oh, okay. That's going to be fast then.
Yes.
Okay.
We won't be impacting the railroads anymore. We'll be doing that work away from the railroad.
Okay. All right. That is all for me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Commissioner Closa.
Thank you, President Good. Thanks for your report, Mr. Wang, on both items. You did a great job summarizing them. And just thanks for the partnership here as well with LACN on the sewers program. I don't have any questions on this item, on these items, I should say.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Closa. And then Vice President Garcia, did I ask you already? Okay, sorry.
That's okay. But I really don't have any questions. So, Mr. Huang, thank you for your report. I appreciate all 3 items. I don't have any questions on either.
Cool. All right. I have no questions. Excellent report on both, Mr. Wong. Thank you very much. I will take a motion to approve items 1 and 3.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Colosa. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Dr. Campos, can you please take roll?
Absolutely. We'll take the voting for items 1 and 3. We'll start with President Good,
Aye.
Vice President Garcia,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Colosa,
Aye.
and Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider items number 1 and 3 to go forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to item number 2. Item number 2 is budget increase and final closeout change order number 30, Green Building Corporation, Highbury Pumping Plant number 604 Rehabilitation Project. Recommending the board, 1, authorize $900,000 in additional contingency and approve a revised construction budget of $4,594 or $4,594,800. I can read numbers for the Highbury Pumping Plant number 604 Rehabilitation Project, and 2, authorize the city engineer to issue final closeout change order number 30 for the project to compensate for extra work and delays. Work order SZC 12520. C-131391. I see you, Mr. Tolles. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, commissioners, everyone. I wish I was only here for $4,000. That's not what I'm here for. I'm Ryan Tolles, the Wastewater Conveyance Construction Division with the Bureau of Engineering, and presenting on the Highbury Pumping Plant number 604 Rehabilitation Project. Specifically, as you mentioned, we're requesting an increase of $900,000 in contingency and also authorization for the city engineer to issue the final closeout change order on the project to close the project. The Highbury Pumping Plant 604 is situated in the University Hills community near Cal State LA. What the plant does is it lifts approximately 550 gallons of sewage daily from the Highbury Pumping Plant to a maintenance hole that's on Mariondale Avenue, where the system returns back to gravity flow. Figure 1 of the report provides an aerial of the general project area. And so specifically the scope of this project included removing and replacing 4 pumps, their accessories, installing a Tier 4 generator, civil improvements, electrical and mechanical improvements as well. It also required a temporary bypass system, completely bypassing the plant in order to complete the work. And figure 2, 3, and 4 of the report provide some images for you of some of that work that was completed. So the project is completed. Statement of completion was received April 22nd, 2021. However, the project did experience significant delays, mainly due to supervisory control and data acquisition system issues. This is also known as SCADA communication. SCADA is something that's used to remote monitor the plant's operations, and they were supposed to be upgraded under a separate contract, which was managed by a separate bureau. However, due to delays with that contract, it was eventually added to this contract to complete this work, and it resulted in some significant delays on the project. Final closeout change order 30 is the last change order on the project and intended to address all of these items. So specifically, the first item is related to a trench that was installed in the generator room, and there was some curbs that were installed that were in violation of some workspace requirements and required some correction work. The contractor completed the work under protest, and eventually a settlement was reached for the city's responsibility of $35,000 with the contractor to resolve the item. And the second item was related to additional bypass cost that was incurred because of these delays I mentioned on the project. Specifically from May 2020 to October of 2020, the contractor maintained the bypass, a full bypass in operation, and provided 24-hour monitoring while these issues were resolved. And a settlement of $350,000 was eventually reached with the contractor to resolve this issue. And then the final item is extended field office overhead, which was incurred because of the delays on the project, the staffing costs, the trailer costs, and things like that. An analysis was completed of the project schedule, and city identified 351 working days of responsibility out of the 595 days the project was delayed. And so using the field daily overhead rate for that, the settlement was reached of $513,864 to resolve the item. There were various other change orders that were submitted by the contractor at the conclusion of the project. However, the city's determination of no entitlement for those items has been accepted by the contractor for those issues. And so this request here is for the budget increase as well as the authority to issue the final closeout change order, which the contractor is in agreement with, to close the project. And so I'm here to answer any questions that you may have on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Tolles. Colleagues, any questions? Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. I appreciate your report. And thanks for just the map in your board letter as well. I don't have any questions. I'm glad you all came up with the settlement as well. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Yeah, obviously this was a very complex problem, and we were able to obviously come to some agreement with all parties, and that's always success. You mentioned in your report about supervisorial control. Could you elaborate for me a little bit in terms of what that entails as far as the ability to be able to control and supervise the project, and what the barrier was in achieving that?
Yeah, so the SCADA communication, it's a centralized control system that allows LA Sanitation to monitor all of the various pumping plants that it has throughout the city. And the Venice pumping plant is the central location for that. And they had a project which you may be familiar with, the LA Winds and the Honeywell project that was going on. And there were some upgrades that were anticipated to be completed by the time this project went into construction. And because of delays that were occurring on that project, the scope had to be changed on this project in order to finish the work and not continue to be impacted by what was going on that project. So, but it's important for sanitation to have this in place so that if there's anything going on at the plant, any red flags with pressures or flow rates or whatever it may be, they're able to see that remotely. And so it is definitely something we wanted in place before the system was handed back over to LA Sanitation.
In terms of capacity, how many pumps does this particular site have?
I believe it's 4. 4 pumps. So we replaced all 4 of them.
So is it our practice to wait until all pumps have to be replaced? Or is it that our experience is that we buy them all at the same time, and so the life of them occurs at the same time?
I think there may be, in general, they're purchased together when the projects are originally built. They're all installed together, and they have kind of a similar timeline.
Sure.
I can't say that there's a hard and fast rule for every scenario. There's situations where we try to phase it, and if there's an impact to the overall system and you can't phase it, you have to bypass it. And in this case, it was decided to bypass the system and replace all 4 of them. But I don't know that there's a hard and fast rule to replace all of them at once versus as needed. That's really sanitation who determines that. The operations and maintenance staff determine the need of replacement.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Commissioner Colosa.
Thank you, President Good. Thank you, Mr. Tolles, for your detailed report and also the level of detail in the board report as well. I thought that was really helpful to understand different change orders and, of course, all the different items included within this, and echo Commissioner Davis's words. I'm glad that, there was a settlement reached where all parties are leaving and closing out the contract on a positive note, which sometimes I know is really tough for really complicated projects like this. But thanks for your work on this and your team's efforts towards a positive resolution. So, no questions.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thanks, Commissioner. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. Mr. Toles, no question from me. Thank you so much for working this out. This is really important, and it's really nice when we can work and compromise with one another. It just makes it just sets a good precedent for the rest. So thank you for doing that and for also taking your time to do that.
Yeah, no, this definitely was a contentious thing. You could see we finished the project April 22nd and came to a resolution recently. So we had a lot of meetings with the contractor and were able to close it out amicably. So I think that's great. Thank you for
and it's worth it. So thank you for going through all those meetings, even though they might have been consuming and overwhelming and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's really nice to be at this place. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. I have no further questions. Mr. Toles, thank you for the presentation and the excellent report. I'll take a motion to move the item forward.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion from President Pro Tem Davis, seconded by Commissioner Colosa. Dr. Campos, can you please take roll?
Absolutely. We'll start with you, Mr. President.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Colosa.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toles. You have a great weekend. All right. Gesundheit, Commissioner Villegas. All right. Let's go to item 4, folks. Item 4 is contract amendment and budget increase. Ventura Boulevard, Amigo Avenue to White Oak Avenue and Densmore Avenue to Calhoun Avenue, Vision Zero STM STP street lighting project. Recommending the board amend the contract to increase the project's contingencies authority from $120,199 to $472,199 to pay for extra work as discussed in this report work order L1649429 C-132864. Hello, Ms. Kwan. Good morning.
Good morning, President Good. Good morning, everyone. I'm Janet Kwan with the Bureau of Street Lighting. I'm here to recommend an amendment to the award board report for the Ventura Boulevard, Amigo to White Oak, and Densmore to Calhoun project to increase the authorized contingency amount. The contingency amount on the award board report was $122,199. We propose to increase that amount by $350,000 to pay for change orders to install new conduit at intermittent locations where the existing wires could not be removed to complete the high voltage to low voltage conversion of the street lighting system. This project is federally reimbursable and is funded by a Public Works Trust Fund loan. This $350,000 of additional funding was previously approved by the board on May 12, 2021, under the Public Works Trust Fund reallocation amendment report. With the addition of the increased contingency, the total contingency amount will be changed from $122,199 to $472,199, and the total project cost will be changed from $938,000 to $1,288,000. To date, a total of $924,363 has been paid back to the Public Works Trust Fund. This amendment to the award board report is being requested so that the Office of Accounting can have authorization to transfer the previously approved funds into the project account. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. Colleagues, will open it up. Commissioner Colosa?
And thank you, President Good. Thanks for your report, Ms. Kwan. I don't have any questions for you on this item.
Thank you, Commissioner. President Pro Tem Davis? You're on mute, sir.
No questions for me either on item 4.
Okay. Commissioner Villegas?
And none for me either. Appreciate your report. Thank you.
All right. And finally, Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. Hi, John and Kwan. Nice to see you. I don't have any questions. I know that we've talked about this week, so that's all for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I have no questions either. Ms. Kwan, thank you. Pretty cut and dry. It makes sense. Important and important action changes to be made. So I'll take a motion from Garcia to approve the item, yeah?
Yes, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Dr. Campos, you want to take roll, please?
Absolutely. This is for item number 4, motion by Commissioner Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Davis. To adopt item number 4, we'll start with the vote at this time. President Good.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Caloza.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kwan. You have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
All right, colleagues. Let's go to item number 5. Item number 5 is a tree removal, 3400 North Fletcher Drive, recommending the board, 1, find under the California Public Resources Code, Section 21166, and the state's Environmental Quality Act guidelines, Section 15332, on the basis of substantial evidence contained in the whole record, that since the city's prior certification of categorical exemption, case number ENV-2016-4768-CE, there have been no changes to the project, changes with respect to the circumstances under which the project is being undertaken, or new information of substantial importance concerning the project, which causes new significant environmental effects or a substantial increase in the severity of previously identified significant effects, and therefore no subsequent categorical exemption, supplemental categorical exemption, or other analysis is required for the project. 2, specify that the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division, located at 1149 South Broadway, is custodian of the documents or other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. 3, review and approve the request for a fee permit for the removal of 3 trees, which include 2 weeping fig, Ficus benjamina, and 1 floss silk, I'm not trying that, tree. Tree replacements are required. And 4, concur with the Bureau of Street Services determination that the site cannot feasibly accommodate all of the required replacement trees, and pursuant to LAMC 62.177C, authorize the tree replacement guarantee fee to satisfy the board's tree planting requirement. I see Hector Benuelos. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, President Good, Commissioners. My name is Hector Benuelos. I'm superintendent here with Urban Forestry Division, Suites LA. And what we have before us is a request to remove 3 street trees for required street widening as part of vesting tentative track 74749 at 3400 West Fletcher Drive. That's at the corner of Fletcher Drive, North Avenue 34 in Council District 13. So the developer here, the owners, are constructing a 18-lot small lot residential complex here. They combined 3 lots to complete this project here. The project is currently under construction. They previously demolished 2 single-family residences and a commercial building in order to construct this development. And as the Department of City Planning has required, or is requiring the developer to widen Avenue 34 from a 15 feet half roadway to 18 feet half roadway as part of their conditions. And in doing so, they will severely impact 3 street trees located on Avenue 34. I would like to note that the project is across the street from an elementary school. It does receive a lot of traffic there at this location here, from what I could see, and I did drive by the location, did verify that. And the trees there that are impacted, there is one floss silk, pronounced Ceiba speciosa, That tree is in decline. It's about 80% probably dead more than alive. Not a desirable species to have in the public right of way, at least not at this location here due to the condition. There are also two Ficus benjaminas, weeping banyan fig. Those trees look like they were probably somebody's house plant that was planted out there one time. It multi-trunk, has a branching structural branching problems here that I can see on those trees, on those two trees there, and I can see problems later on down the line, which is why the Urban Forestry is recommending that the board approve the request for the removal of these three trees to allow the developer to widen the roadway as required as part of this development. They will be, if approved, they will be replaced with three 36-inch box-sized African fern pine that we're of the opinion that will provide a good amount of shade and also allow for some wildlife habitat there in the urban corridors. Would like to note also there are three trees that are existing on the Fletcher Drive side. Those trees are not going to be impacted. They'll remain in place. And so at the end of the day, there will be six street trees growing on this project here. There is not enough room to feasibly plant the additional 3 trees needed to meet the board's 2-to-1 tree replacement requirement. And therefore, the Bureau of Streets LA is requesting that the board approve and allow the contractor or the developer applicant to pay the tree planting guaranteed tree planting fee of $5,835 so that they can meet the board's 2-to-1 tree replacement requirement. Council District 13, Community Forestry Advisory Committee, and the Department of Habitat Empowerment were informed of the tree removal permit request, and it was also posted on our tree removal notification system as well. So all notifications were sent out to all respective agencies and entities. So that concludes my presentation for today. I'm here to address any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Mr. Benuelos. All right, colleagues. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. Good morning, Mr. Benuelos. Nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you in 2022, so Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
I wanted to just ask, I know you mentioned a little bit about the health of these trees, and it's always with the intention in the back. My intention is to see how we can obviously save as many trees. These trees look cute. Based on what I did some like Google research on what's happening, what it looks like. They're big and they provide a lot of shade to that piece of the community or, the sidewalk. Are we going to be able to supplement that and make sure that they have shade like they have now? So double question. One is, can you just go a little bit more into the health of the trees? And I know we're cutting big trees, but second, are we going to be able to give them that much shade they have currently? I know we won't get to that point, but eventually.
Yeah, the tree replacements are the African fern pine. They grow to a fairly decent size, given the amount of growing space they're going to receive. The applicant is required to widen. They're also required, they can either put in a solid sidewalk or within the conditions also, they can also allow for the inclusion of a parkway. Okay, I did speak with the applicant and about that, and they are amicable to allowing the parkway to remain. Right? So they're not going to be putting a solid sidewalk. They're going to be actually allowing a parkway. So in essence, they're just basically shifting the whole right of way over. So there's going to be, I believe, a 7-foot parkway there. And so that's ample room for all those African fern pines to grow to a substantial size. And I think will either meet or exceed the size of the trees that are there now, which are the Ficus benjaminas, right? And so as I mentioned, the Ficus benjamina, they have structural problems, branching problems over time. They will be problematic. And so I would hate to see one of those branches fail and onto somebody or something later on. And that's what I foresee kind of with those trees being planted in the right of way. Not all of them are bad, but these ones in particular, there's a lot of codominant limbs. They're basically limbs the same size, multiple codominant limbs on these trees here. So they don't with that branching characteristics, it's not really desirable to allow to remain on the public street. Well, we have the opportunity here now to remove these trees and replace them with the species that we feel that will provide long-term sustainability and aesthetic and environmental benefits to the community.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see definitely that the sidewalk really needs help in that area, and I think the trees contribute to some of that. So I can see how this one really needs an overhaul, in other words. And I'm glad that the sidewalks will be repaired and fixed because kids do walk through there to school and from school and so forth. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you so much, Mr. Banuelos. Appreciate your report, like always.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. President Pro Tem Davis. You're muted, Mike.
You did mention in your report that the area where the project is does not accommodate the extra trees that are going to be available. And so have you worked out the extra trees that are available to the area and where you're going to put it? And has that been processed yet?
There are three trees remaining to meet the 2-to-1 replacement are going to be paid for with the tree planting guarantee fee. Right, so to meet the board's 2-to-1. The trees will be planted in the respective council district or at a later date.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Colosa.
Thank you, President Good. Thanks for your report, Mr. Banuelos. And we have two of the applicants on the line. That's right, Mr. Banuelos?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. If possible, I'd like to call on them and just see if they had anything else they wanted to add to what you already presented before I asked a few follow-up questions.
Absolutely, Commissioner. Alex, caller ending in 727 and 566. If you can please unmute your microphone by pressing *6, and please respond to our commissioner's question.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Alex.
Thanks, Dr. Campos, for putting them on the line. I just wanted to ask a broad question and just see if you wanted to add anything else to the presentation that Mr. Banuelos just presented about this tree removal.
No, I think he's covered everything fairly comprehensively, and yeah, we're looking forward to finishing up this project.
And then just curious, I think Mr. Banuelos mentioned it, but I think I missed it. And what kind of housing development is this, just for our awareness?
These are 18 single-family homes, small lot subdivision.
And then with the school across the street, did you do any outreach to them? Just curious as it relates to any impacts. I know that that's still an active construction site right now. Just wanting to know if you can speak to any engagement you've done with the local community, or if there's any opposition at all. And it's an open question too for you, Mr. Banuelos. Just would be good for us to know.
So as far as the street tree removal, we have not done any outreach. However, we did review the project with the school district officials as a part of one of our tract map conditions that was issued to us by planning. So they are aware of the construction and the subsequent street widening.
Okay. Mr. Banuelos, did we receive any community support or opposition for this? Just curious.
We did all our notifications as we normally do with all tree removal permit requests to the Community Forest Advisory Committee, the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, and through the respective council office. We did not receive any objections, and known objections, at least for this project here from the previously identified entities. However, we did receive one inquiry on the tree removal notification system from appeared to be a local stakeholder. However, I'm uncertain if it was either in support or opposed to the project or tree removals.
I was just asking about the trees, not necessarily commenting.
They normally post their contact information on the tree removal notification system, where when we know of the date the hearing date is scheduled for, then we post the dates and times of the hearing date onto the notification system, where the interested party or requester may inquire with the board as to here at the end of the hearing date.
Okay. Appreciate it. I just wanted to get that on record. And the council office, you said, is in support of this project moving forward.
Yeah, I'm uncertain. I didn't receive any response from the council office. I don't know really what their position is on the project.
Okay. But you notified them and they didn't oppose the project.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, Mr. Benuelos. Thank you to the applicant for just chiming in there. Just want to give you an opportunity in case you wanted to add anything. But I don't think I have any further questions on this item. I appreciate all the photos included in the attachments, kind of showing the health of the trees that you mentioned, Mr. Benuelos. That was helpful. No other questions for me, President Good.
Thank you, Commissioner Calosa. Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you, Mr. Benuelos, for the report. I don't have any questions. I think my colleagues asked some good questions for this. And I know that I just review all of our projects before they come to the board, and Streets LA and Mr. Benuelos' team do a thorough job and evaluating each tree that is before us. So thank you for that. I don't have any questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Agreed, and really appreciate the report, Mr. Benuelos. So I will take a motion to approve the item.
I'll move.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Dr. Campos, you want to take roll, please?
Absolutely. There's been a motion by Commissioner Villegas, seconded by Commissioner Davis to adopt item number 5. Subject to the conditions listed on the report. We'll start with the voting tabulation at this time. We'll start with President Good.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Calosa.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
All right, colleagues, let's take a brief recess. We will return it is 11:14. We'll return at 11:19 in the a.m. I'll see you in a second.
Yes, sir.
I'm here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. President, you are now in record mode. Would you like me to establish quorum for you?
Yes, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. It is 11:21 a.m. Reestablishing quorum for the Board of Public Works for Friday, January 21st, 2022. We have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Calosa, and Commissioner Villegas. Mr. President, you do have a quorum.
All right, thank you, sir. Welcome back, folks. Let's jump right in, and we'll start with item number 9. Item number 9, tiny little item, contract award, Kiewit Infrastructure West Company, Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant projects, DCT, WRP, Advanced Water Purification, Primary Equalization Basin, CIP 6888, rebid, Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Emergency Backup Power Project, CIP 6145. As you can tell, I have an easier time saying Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant than the acronym. Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Avors and Evis Gates Replacement, CIP 6231. And Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Screw Pumps, Inlet Gates, CIP 6234, Japanese Garden Lake Effluent Bypass, CIP 6235, fixed allowances. Recommending the board, 1, find transmittal numbers 2 and 4 to be unmerited, and receive and file transmittal numbers 3 and 5 relating to the same subjects as discussed in this report. 2, declare Kiewit Infrastructure West Company, Kiewit, first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award Kiewit a contract for this project for $111,193,000. And 3, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Work orders SZD 11344, SZD 11134, SZD 11324, SZD 11329, and SZD 11365. We've got a full cadre of engineering and sanitation here. I see Fernando Gonzalez, Ethan Wong, Greg Vandergrift. Good morning, gentlemen. Please proceed.
Yes, good morning, President Good, Commissioners, Executive Officer, and Council to the Board. My name is Fernando Gonzalez. I'm the Division Manager for the Water Reclamation Division with Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment. For the last 38 years, the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plan has proudly served the 800,000 residents and businesses in the San Fernando Valley. The plan was a pioneer of advanced water treatment technology combined with the beauty and tranquility of the Japanese garden. Its manicured landscape gardens are irrigated with reclaimed water from the plant that is going soon to be reopened to the public. Today, we're setting a new milestone to bring the plant to the next level. We will be embarking into the upgrades to turn the plant into a water recycling facility. The components to be awarded by the board today will become the cornerstone into this transformation. These projects are the prequel needed to happen before the advanced water purification process and equipment can continue. Our partners in the Bureau of Engineering will deliver the advanced water purification facility, primary effluent equalization basins, the Japanese Garden Lake effluent bypass project, effluent gates replacement from the AVORS, which stands for the Additional Valley Outfall Relief Sewer, and EVIS, that stands for East Valley Interceptor Sewer. And also the inlet gates at the headworks and the screw pumps. The delivery mechanisms for these projects would include the traditional design bid build and progressive design build approaches. At this time, I would like to yield the floor to my good friend and partner in crime, Ethan Wong of the Environmental Engineering Division, Bureau of Engineering, to provide further details on the bid award for your consideration.
Thanks, Fernando. It's good to see you. Hello.
See you too, President Gall.
Good morning, everybody. This is Ethan Wong with the Bureau of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Division, and I want to thank Fernando Gonzalez for that wonderful introduction to these very important projects that we're doing at the Donald C. Tillman plant. So just a little details about each of the project. I'll highlight a few. As far as the AWPF primary equalization basin goes, we will be adding 6.75 million gallons worth of storage to the treatment facility. So this will require the construction of a 360-foot by 263-foot concrete reinforced basin, which will provide the plant with flexibility with 5 individual tanks within this giant basin. These tanks can operate either empty, full or empty, partially filled, and whatnot. So they'll provide a lot of flexibility for process. And as we move forward with the advanced water purification facility, it can provide flow to the advanced water purification during high weather or extreme weather where we are getting high flows into the plant. We can store that water and then release it slowly to create basically a steady state flow for the advanced water purification facility during low flow times. I'd also like to highlight for the Donald C. Tillman emergency backup power. we are installing two diesel engine generators. These will be used whenever there are power outages so that the process for the plant can continue on during major power outages. We will be installing two 3,000 kilowatt, three-phase, 4,160 volts generators, and we will also have space for another generator for future expansion of the plant. Moving on to the AVORS EVIS gates replacements. So there are two major sewers, as Fernando mentioned, that bring influent into the plant. There are gates, two on the AVORS and 6 on the EVIS that require replacement. These are large gates that are 8 foot square, basically, and all of these gates are aged many years, as the plant's been in service, as Fernando mentioned, over 30 plus years, that all of these gates require replacement. So there'll be a major sewer bypass, which is integral to getting these gates replaced, and it will also benefit the diversion for the equalization basin. The next project I wanted to highlight quickly was the screw pump inlet gates. We will be replacing 8 gates again at the Headworks facility. So there is these screw pumps act as a lift station that lifts the flow into the plant for treatment purposes. There are 8 gates again that are aged and need replacement. So we're replacing 4 at phase 1 Headworks and 4 at phase 2 Headworks screw pumps. And then moving on to the Japanese Garden Lake effluent bypass. This is another facility that will be integral in the advanced water purification facility. To maximize water reuse, we are going to be diverting 4.3 million gallons from the Japanese Garden Lake back to Headworks, so that this water remains in the treatment system and can flow into the advanced water purification facility. This will require 100 linear feet of 16-inch diameter stainless steel to be connected to the AVORS sewer for rerouting from the Japanese garden back into the system for processing. So this will also require the bypass to be in place. So we grouped these 5 projects together to take advantage of basically single sewer bypass at both the AVORS and the EVIS sewers, so that we wouldn't have to have multiple bypasses and doing all of these projects separately. So that's one of the main reasons these projects were grouped together. These were originally bid back in April of 2020, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, the bids were canceled. So this is actually the rebid of those projects. The contract duration for these projects is 1,095 calendar days. And all of these projects are covered by an environmental impact report that was prepared for the project, with the exclusion of the Japanese Garden Lake effluent bypass project, which has an ongoing mitigated negative declaration that is still in process. And we expect the conclusion of that in May of 2022. No part of this project will start until after that date. So there are a series of allowances that comprise of that project, and there won't be any issuance of the orders to start work on the Japanese Garden Lake effluent bypass until the CEQA clearance is obtained. Because of the major nature of these projects and the complications, there was a massive pre-qualification effort for our contractors. We previously pre-qualified 3 contractors, W.M. Lyles Company, in joint venture with Parsons Construction Group, Kiewit Infrastructure, and Walsh. Walsh and Kiewit did submit bids for this project. W.M. Lyles declined to submit a bid due to scheduling conflicts and other projects in construction. The city engineer's estimate for this project was $83,191,000. We received 2 bids as I mentioned, one from Kiewit, one from Walsh. Kiewit being the low bid at $111,193,000. There were different protests that Walsh did submit, and I will have Greg Vandergrift cover that shortly. This project was also a local business preference, part of the local business preference program. Kiewit is a certified local business enterprise, but that the local business preference program does not alter the bid order. As far as the city's business inclusion program, there were anticipated levels of 10% MBE, 4% WBE, 25% SBE, and 8% EBE, and 3% DVBE. Kiewit has pledged a anticipated level of 0.63% MBE or minority business enterprises, 0% women business enterprises, 5.20% small business enterprises, and 0.63% emerging business enterprises, and 0% disabled veteran business enterprises. And they also have 18% other business enterprises. This, when you sum it all together, is a subcontractor participation level of 25.34%, which meets the mandatory subcontractor minimum. And with that, I will now turn the floor over to Greg Vandergrift to cover the bid protest.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's a pleasure to see you, and Happy New Year for those I haven't had a chance to see since the new year. I very much want to say that we appreciate our partnership with all of our sister bureaus, but in view of the fact that we're dealing with the sensitive subject of protests, I do want to say no crimes have been committed in the delivering of these projects, okay? We very much appreciate our partnership. Enjoy that. My comments are focusing specifically on the protest. On May 24th of 2021, Walsh submitted a protest regarding the bid submitted by Kiewit Infrastructure, or Kiewit. The arguments were, number one, that Kiewit did not submit the contractor responsibility questionnaire in the copy of the package that they received. Walsh stated that the Form 55 Schedule A and B is required and was not submitted. They also stated that Kiewit failed to list the rental company and the amount for rentals and constitute a substantial scope of the work. They also stated that the liner installer's minimum qualification form is located on LA Bavin, and that form was not submitted, and therefore that the bid would be non-responsive. On May 28th, Kiewit responded to each of those items with the following comments. The CRO questionnaire, or Contractor Responsibility Ordinance questionnaire, was included in their bid, and Walsh's protest was invalid. Kiewit stated that the Form 55 was not a requirement of the bid documents for the bid, and Kiewit did provide Form 50, which was required. Kiewit stated that they did complete the list of subcontractors properly as required, and Kiewit stated that the liner installer's minimum qualifications was not a requirement of the bid. Walsh offered a rebuttal to that response on June 11th of 2021. Walsh stated that the CRO questionnaire was not included in the copy of the bid package they received, and asked for confirmation from the city that it was included and submitted at the time of the bid. Walsh stated that the LA Bavin had a link, and that's the Business Assistance Virtual Network, had a link to find forms, and Form 55 was in the forms library. Walsh stated that the subcontractor list was still incomplete, as subcontractors for concrete material, odor control, and bypass pumping would exceed the requirement to list subcontractors whose work valued more than 0.5% of the work. Walsh further stated that the LA Bavin link to find forms included the liner installer's minimum qualification form and required due to the extensive amount of PVC liner for the report. Again, Kiewit offered this response to the rebuttal. The questionnaire was included in the bid proposal. The link is for the library forms, and the library page states to check the bid package for requirements. Kiewit also stated that they correctly completed the list of subcontractors, and as previously stated, the link is to the forms library and to check the bid package for requirements regarding the liner installer's minimum requirements. Staff reviewed both the original protests and all responses and rebuttals. BOE confirmed that the contractor's responsibility ordinance questionnaire was included in the bid package submitted by Kiewit to the board office at the time bids were received, and the protest on that subject is unmerited. The Form 55 Schedule A and B were not a requirement of this project. It should be noted that all documents required to be submitted were included in the advertisement bid package provided by the Bureau of Engineering on LA Babbitt. The protest is unmerited on this topic. The list of subcontractors and their amounts were carefully reviewed and determined that the protest was without merit on this topic as well. BOE reviewed the bid package, including the technical specifications, to determine if the liner installer's minimum qualifications form was required for bidders to submit. This form was not required at the time of bid, therefore this protest is also without merit. BOE therefore recommends that the protest and related documents be received and filed. BOE also recommends award to Kiewit Infrastructure West Company upon finding them to be the lowest responsible bidder for this project. Thank you. Are there any questions? Oh, I should add real quick that both Walsh and Kiewit were notified of this board hearing and the date and time.
Thank you, Mr. Vandergriff. Colleagues, let's open this up for questions. I'll start with Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you for the report, Mr. Gonzalez, Ethan Wong, and Mr. Vandergriff. That was all helpful information. And as always, Ethan does a great job just in explaining all the complicated, mechanics of a project. So really appreciate that. And thank you, Mr. Vandergriff, for letting us know just of the protest process. The amount is just, it's a lot. I can see why, Walsh wanted to be the bidder. I'm curious, do we have any other business with them in the past?
Yes, we have, Commissioner.
And have they protested in the past on projects like this size, or?
I don't have that information readily at hand at this time.
Okay. All right, and they've been a good vendor to us, a good contractor to us in the past?
I'm unaware of any problems with any of their contracts at this time.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. I know that the process that we have in place, is a fair one, and clearly just the amount of work that you all had to put in for the protest and just go through a thorough review of what was turned in and how it was turned in, and then validating all the MBEs or OBEs or all the other partnerships. Those are all valid. I've just seen a lot of, work that Kiewit's done in the past throughout the LA region, and I just noted it's very, it's top notch. All right. I don't have any questions. I think that, Tillman plant needs this work to be done. It's the wave of the future, dealing with, water recycling and being able to deliver and actually have, such huge storage at the Tillman facility. That is just going to be really significant. And the fact that we're, having 5 tanks that are, I didn't even bother wasting my time reading how big they are, but in my head, I'm thinking they're pretty big. Since they're concrete reinforced basins, it just seems to me, just from seeing others, that they're just pretty big. And I appreciate just, the backup generators, and then the fixing of the gates. Just, I know as someone on the ad hoc committee for Hyperion, these gates are significant just to, either, stopping flows or having other necessities. And so I'm glad that they are going to be updated, and these are pretty heavy gates. That is all, for me for now. I don't have any other questions. It's like a facelift that Tillman's going to get. It's going to get really nice, and I'm glad that we are doing this water recycling facility, and we're going in a new direction. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Villegas. I just wanted to add something really quickly regarding Walsh. So Walsh is actually currently the contractor on our Hyperion Advanced Water Purification Facility. So they are an active contractor and been a great partner in delivering that project.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I also, Commissioner Walsh was also the builder of the Advanced Water Purification Facility at Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant, which is now in service.
Okay. All right. So they have a lot of experience as well.
Yeah, and another thing I want you guys to understand is that these projects are the prequel. These are not part of the Advanced Water Purification Facility, but in order to start with those, we need to complete this. This is like a predecessor, must needed. Especially the EQ tanks, which has most of the cost, because the key for advanced water treatment is steady flow. Normally, and during other reclamation processes, you can deal with ups and downs of the influent sewer coming to the plant. When it comes to advanced water purification, steady flow is the key.
All right, I appreciate that, and thank you for that context. Just on both Walsh and then Mr. Gonzalez, just on the all the work that's going to be needed in advance of moving along with the purification facility. All right, thank you. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. I want to say thank you to Ethan, Fernando, Greg, and everybody that worked on this working on this project to get us here. I know that it's a big milestone, given that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has to give the authority, and that has been in the works for a very long time. So, hey, yay to you guys. I know that was huge. So the fact that we're here is that has already happened. So thank you for working with the Corps. I know that they are the owners of that entire property, and we are leasing that property with very good intentions and for many years. Fernando, this also, we've had multiple conversations on how we can now have some kind of exhibit or education piece on the water reclamation work that happens behind the Japanese garden. So let's talk about this one too, because I think this can also be a nice addition to the education we want to build there. So for the community out in the Tillman area. So let more conversations on that, Fernando. But it excites me that we're going this route. Other than that, I don't have any specific questions. I know that this work has been in the works for a very long time, and it's very much needed. We have the space. The space is there. So I fully support that we move forward with making this happen. And plus, this adds to, this is part of our overall goal, right? Our mayor's overall goal, which gets us to that. Is it 2030 for this one? Okay, 2030. Not that far from now. We're in 2022 now. That's 8 more years. So with all that, I'll just to say that I really fully support moving forward with this, and I look forward to working with all of you on how do we also not only do make this happen, but how do we also educate the community and the city on the great work that the sanitation department and the Bureau of Engineering is doing in that area and all through the city. But on a more technical question, given that this is a very large contract and Qwit is going to be the sole contractor for this, right, or at least the lead for this, I imagine you guys have put in place monitoring and a lot of oversight on this, right? And how long are we expecting to contract Qwit with to do this project, the multiple projects that we have?
Yeah, so the contract duration for this project is 1,095 days.
That's right. That's what's 3 years, you said? 3 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 years.
That's a lot of work for 3 years. So good. I would like to see if you guys can come back and give us just an update on this, just where we're at, maybe on an annual basis. Just because it is a very large contract. If any of my colleagues want more than an annual, I'm open to that too. But at least I just want to hear it on an annual basis. It's also the same conversation, the same request I had last year, which is I think it's time for the Advanced Purification Water Treatment team to give us more updated. It looks like you guys are really going forward with it now, and it'll be in fruition pretty soon. So we just want to hear that, especially given that this is such a large contract too. So if we can make that happen, I would really appreciate that. And that's all for me, President Good.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. President Pro Tem Davis.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. The company that will be doing the work, I guess Mr. Vandergriff informed us, is Qwit. Do we have a lot of other existing contracts with Qwit? I think I've heard the name before. They've done work with us before. Is that correct?
Well, Commissioner, Qwit Pacific and its subsidiaries has been around for over 30 years. I can remember when I was a kid in school that they were around. And again, they've worked with the city on projects throughout my entire history with the city over the last 30 years.
So we obviously find them to be a very reliable vendor for past work that has been done that we've had interaction with them on, right?
That's correct.
Now, there's no protest on this item. You did read a lot of details about our assessment in this matter. There are no protests currently, are there, from any of the others who were competing?
Well, again, there were only 2 bids submitted on the project. One of them was Walsh, who did submit their protest, but we found their protest had no merit. And then the other one was, of course, Qwit, who defended their bid.
Was this the same Walsh that has other contracts? Not that it's relevant to our evaluation in this contract, but I'm just curious to see, is this an incidental same name, or is this the name of a company that's doing other work in other areas?
They are, as Ethan and both Fernando mentioned, Walsh has other contracts with the city and has done other work with the city.
I see. Now, when we look at this project, $111 million, what is the opportunity for creating, interviewing, recruiting of small businesses in the Los Angeles environment to participate over the time of the contract?
Well, that was included in the subcontracting, the minimum subcontracting requirements and the percentages thereof, as well as soliciting for local business participation in the bid package that was advertised.
And so obviously what was that, as you can summarize it for me, in terms of what they proposed? Did you consider it progressive or impressive, or what did you surmise?
I cover the percentages again, Commissioner Davis, for you. So the project was proposed with anticipated limits or levels, I should say, of 10% minority business enterprises, 4% women business enterprises, 25% small business enterprises, 8% emerging business enterprises and 3% disadvantaged veteran business enterprises. So Kiewit's pledge levels for their bid listed subcontractors are 0.63%, minority business enterprises 5.2%, small business enterprises 0.63%, emerging business enterprises, and 0 for women business enterprises, and 0% for disadvantaged or disabled veteran business enterprises, I should say. So Kiewit's pledged amounts are below our anticipated levels, but they do have outreach, met all outreach requirements, and have bid listed both minority, small business, and emerging business enterprises.
This project is no federal funds, is that right?
There are what is called WEFIA funds, which are from the Environmental Protection Agency. It's a loan program through them. So there will be funds for this project up to 50%.
Mm-hmm. And those are federally influenced funds, is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
And we've not been able to locate any disadvantaged business veterans in the search thus far.
It doesn't appear so. I do have a representative from Kiewit who can speak to it more clearly or comprehensively about that.
Sure, I'd love to hear from him.
So Dr. Campos, Brian Rapp from Kiewit is on the line. If you can make him one of the panelists, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, if you can hear us, you will receive an invitation to join us as a panelist. Once you join us, please turn on your video cam, and I will go ahead and highlight you and spotlight you for everyone. Thank you for joining us, Brian. If you can just turn on your video cam. There you go. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. I wanted to know about our search and our exploration for disadvantaged veteran businesses. I understand that there is a remote amount of funds that come from federal influences on the project that we're doing here. And obviously, this is a very demanding project, and it's a very stable project that is going to be implemented over a reasonable amount of time. So obviously, as a member of the board, I'm concerned about the capacity of this project and what we are able to do in terms of outreach, specifically disadvantaged veteran businesses. What was the experience there?
Sure. And I'll speak specifically to this project, and then maybe just in general our experience, of managing this on other projects, because this is a requirement and interest, in across the board. So we, I guess I would start off with following the LeBavin process and the listed vendors, all the outreach that was done with that and the follow-up, trying to get the interest from all disadvantaged businesses, but specifically veterans. We have worked with and do have contracts with disadvantaged businesses, but also veteran businesses on other projects. This project specifically, frankly, we didn't receive a lot of response or ability, right, to fulfill the requirements. The nature of this project may have had something to do with that or influence. Providing specific scopes of work and that can be a little challenging for small businesses to sort of grasp and respond to on a design build project like this as well, which does also allow us to have continued outreach, which we do plan to do on the project to look for other opportunities. So that is a positive with this is as the scope develops and finalizes under the design build portion of the contract, we can continue to look for other opportunities.
Great. So it's an ever-evolving opportunity for various businesses that might be appropriate as we go along. Is that correct?
Yes. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the project labor agreements, they're not necessarily needing to be implemented in this because of the effort that you have in your pledge. Is that correct or?
Correct.
Okay. And now,
Mr. Davis, sorry, there is a PLA on this project.
There is.
As part of the contract, yes, there is.
And where is that PLA and what does it look like?
I would need Office of Contract Compliance to maybe weigh in on the details, but it is, obviously per the city standard, it follows, encourages apprenticeship training for the duration of the construction for local residents. If somebody from OCC is on, I believe Patty Follis is on the call, so maybe she can answer the question in more detail than I could.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Patty.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, President. Good morning, Commissioners. Actually, I don't have that information with me right now, but I can actually get back to you or email you back at another time.
Okay, and that'll be fine that you can do that. Again, what I'm looking at is our capacity. When we look at this project, I think it's going to be, how many years are we anticipating that we will be engaged in this project?
3 years.
How many years?
That's 3 years, Commissioner.
3 years, that's great. And so it's a great project and it's a great opportunity and it's going to have great results in terms of when they finish the project and what it will do to help us advance as an organization. And likewise, we would want it to be an experience for those small businesses and other developing, emerging, and other businesses to be a part of this experience that we're all going to benefit from. So this is the reason why I'm asking these questions, trying to make sure that we can capture and embrace this opportunity. Now, my final question is this. Inasmuch as we have been able to accommodate, find, recruit, and implement a project labor agreement, to what degree in this project labor agreement would disabled veterans be a part of that effort?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, could you repeat the question?
Inasmuch as we are going to implement a project labor agreement on this project over the next 3 years, to what degree have we been able to, or to what degree is it even possible that disadvantaged veteran businesses would be a part of working in that kind of an effort? I know that the project labor agreement probably has journeymen, but is there anything that we do to that end that would include someone in a similar category of veterans?
I might be able to help on this, President Davis.
Yes, sir.
There won't be a specific project labor agreement on this project. It will be subject to the master public works project labor agreement that we have all approved. And recall within that, one of the classifications under the transitional worker bucket, if you will, is disabled veterans. And so that's how it would sort of play out. So that Kiewit will need to meet transitional worker levels on hours. And one of the ways that they can do that is with disabled veterans.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that. And thank you so much for this presentation. And we look forward to moving forward on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, President Davis.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rapp. Commissioner Closa.
Thank you, President Good, and thank you for the joint presentation from Mr. Wong, Mr. Vandegrift, and Mr. Gonzalez. It was a bit of a love fest there as you guys all introduced each other. Nice to see that DOE LACN collaboration. Thank you also for the detailed board report. I know one of my questions was in the briefing prior to this is like, why did we put all these different projects together into one contract? And so appreciate you explaining, Mr. Wong, the efficiencies that we were trying to establish through the bypass by making sure that there was one contractor handling all these different pieces, which is really important. And so that was super helpful. One of the things too, while we have the contractor here, that I just want to ask as it relates to the minimum subcontracting, the business inclusion program was, I appreciate that you all met you pledged 25%, even though the 15% was the requirement. I guess the only thing I would say is that I'm a little disappointed that there weren't better numbers for the MBE, the WEBE, SBE, and the EBE and DVBE, as Commissioner Davis also pointed out. It's a mega contract with 5 projects. It's over $100 million, and we really want to make sure that those small and minority businesses get get a piece of the pie, if you will, and there's plenty of work to do. And so I was a little disappointed to see not even 1% be hit on some of those enterprises. And so I'm really hoping that some of the outreach that you mentioned that you would do after this, and as you continue on with the program, that you continue to exceed some of those numbers somehow. But I just wanted to say that and point that out. The other item that I just wanted to clarify as well, and this is more so than just brought up in Commissioner Davis's questioning, is I know that we found out that the funding source is through the WIFIA loan, which we applied for, which is through the EPA, if I remember correctly. And so I just wanted some clarification. And Ms. Fuelas, are you here for the Bureau of Contract Administration to answer those questions?
Commissioner Closa? Hi, good morning. I'll answer as best as I can.
Okay. One of the questions I had, and I just want to clarify, but since we have federal dollars attached to this, are we legally required to use the disadvantaged business program for this instead of the BIP? And the reason why I want to ask that on the record so we're clear is that if we don't use the right program and we have a federal funding source, that would also jeopardize our funding for this. And this is too big of a project to not get it right before we award it. So I just want to make sure that we're using the right program before we put this up for a vote.
That is a good question. We were not aware that there were DBE funds that were that are involved or that are contributed.
I'm sorry, Ms. Wellis, you're breaking up a little bit, so I apologize if you're explaining, but I think we're losing you, or at least I'm losing you on my end.
Yeah, Commissioner Koza, I can weigh in on that question, help Patty out. So we did check with the City Attorney's Office on if the use of the Business Inclusion Program was appropriate in conjunction with the federal funding we're receiving on this project, as well as with LESAN staff that applied for the grant and the loans for this project. And we did verify with them that the city's business inclusion program does meet the requirements of the WIFIA loan program. So we are able to use the business inclusion program and don't have to use the federal program of the DBE.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Ron. I just wanted to make sure we had all our I's dotted and our T's crossed, because that was brought up, and I know that's a really important loan for the city and also for this project, since we're depending on it to get all this work done by the mayor's deadline. I think those were the bulk of my questions. I think my colleagues asked a lot of good questions, and I look forward to seeing the fruition of this project. And yes, to the contractor who was here earlier, yeah, just really want to emphasize that, hoping to see better achieved numbers for some of those small and disadvantaged businesses that we saw, and hopefully exceed some of the pledged amounts given the large contract that we have. And that was it from my end. Thanks for answering the question, Mr. Wong.
Thank you, Commissioner Calosa. I don't really have any questions. You folks all covered them, particularly the clarity on the federal funding implications. I would echo, I won't deny, in reading the report, I had a similar reaction on the BIP, or the Business Inclusion Program numbers, and I know it's complicated, and I know all those things are true, and still, please understand, Mr. Rapp, that is obviously something very important to the board and to the city, and we hope that at every opportunity you will act with serious intention, which I have zero doubt about. So, yeah.
Would just like to offer, we'll continue to work at that and report back, to the board on how the progress has gone, but really probably explaining the reasons behind. I'm sure there's more that we could offer that would be valuable to the board to reach your goals.
Thank you, Mr. Rapp. Appreciate that. And then just echoing Commissioner Villegas, Hyperion gets all the headlines, but Donald C. Tillman is just utterly crucial, as is Terminal Island, Mr. Gonzalez, and Glendale. But this is just such a crucial project for our future. Simply put, for the city's sustainability future and resilience future. So very, very exciting, very, very critical work. So with that, I will motion to move this mega item forward, and I will take a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Dr. Campos, would you like to take roll, please?
Absolutely. There's been a motion by Commissioner Good, seconded by Commissioner Villegas to adopt item number 9. We'll go ahead and take the vote at this time. President Good.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Calosa.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Rapp. Good luck, Mr. Wong. Good luck, Mr. Vandergriff, and good luck, Mr. Gonzalez. It's good to see all y'all, and have great weekends, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We're going to take item 10. Dr. Campos, if you can go ahead and alert what I anticipate to be a gaggle of human beings for item 12, and let them know that we'll be coming. I say that with no derision, only love. Let them know that we will take that item next, just so everybody's ready. That would be great. And then we'll take item 10 right now. So item 10, folks, is a contract award. Murray Plumbing and Heating, DBA Murray Company, Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant, Advanced Water Purification Facility, Advanced Oxidation Process, Effluent Recirculation Project. Speaking thereof, Mr. Gonzalez. Recommending the board, you're on home, right? Recommending the board, 1, declare Rice Lake Contracting Corporation, DBA Rice Lake Construction Group, apparent first low bidder, and Innovative Construction Solutions second low bidder, to both be ineligible for the award of the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant, Advanced Water Purification Facility, Advanced Oxidation Process, Effluent Recirculation Project. Wow, Ethan. As discussed in this project, or in this report. 2, declare Murray Plumbing and Heating, DBA Murray Company, third low bidder, to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award Murray a contract for this project for $3,605,453. And 3, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Work order SZT 11436. We again have Mr. Wong and Mr. Gonzalez. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, commissioners. Good to see you guys again. So, as you guys well know, the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plan services the harbor area of the city of Los Angeles, which includes the residential areas of San Pedro, Harbor City, and parts of Wilmington, as well as nearby industries. Terminal Island has had a history of innovation. Just a trivia, we are the first ones in the United States to install egg-shaped anaerobic digesters to handle biosolids, and we are currently the third largest advanced water purification facility in the state of California for recycled water production, that is. And it is the first publicly owned plant with the ability to recycle 100% of its influent wastewater flow. Now, coming back to reality, the plant is subject to unforeseen events that disrupts the water purification process, like power blips. When the process is disturbed, it takes some time to reestablish stability on the delicate process of purification. It's really like a chemistry set of adding and removing things so that the recycled water is on the right quality for our recycled water customers. So during this time, we must continue the delivery of recycled water, as is our fiduciary duty. And we have a stabilization product tank of about 1 million gallons. And we pretty much use that reserve to keep servicing our customers. Now, while we do that, the water recirculation line enables us to do so without having the off-spec water, because it takes some time to, restart the purification process. So you don't want the off-spec water to mix with the good water. So this water recirculation line enables us to divert the off-spec water and pump it over to the beginning of the purification process for a redo. Several months ago, we came to you and you let us build a temporary system. This temporary system runs manually, so it takes a lot of labor just to whenever we need to activate this, and sometimes we lose precious time. Now, this project will provide the permanent features that will now enable us to run the water recirculation line in the Distributed Control System, DCS, for full automation. Once again, our partners in Bureau of Engineering will deliver the final permanent facility. So that I would like to yield the floor once again to my partner in crime, Ethan Wong of the Environmental Engineering Division, Bureau of Engineering, to provide further details on the bid and award for your consideration. Ethan?
Good morning, everyone. This is Ethan Wong with the Bureau of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Division. Once again, wanted to thank our plant manager, or our former plant manager at Terminal Island, Fernando Gonzalez, for that introduction and all his collaboration in getting this project to this point. So just some detailed scope of work to accomplish this recirculation. So what the project comprises of is the installation of 500 feet of 24-inch diameter stainless steel recirculation piping, installation of 3 24-inch diameter stainless steel control and isolation valves, and then, as Fernando mentioned, the assorted instrumentation and control and integration into our existing DCS control systems for remote monitoring and control to make the overall operation and maintenance of the system easier for plant staff. So with this project, we received 6 bids on August 4th of 2021. With the city engineer estimate of $5,464,000, we received 5 bids below that number. So the lowest bid being from Rice Lake, the second bid being from Innovative, and the third bid being from Murray Company. So because the bids were received August 4th, and as you can see today, we do have a number of projects awarding. And due to the overall pandemic, there was a previous hold on many of our projects. So at this time, we're seeing an influx of projects being put out to bid, and obviously review needs to happen for those projects. So because of the staff being inundated with reviews on a numerous amount of projects, it is very difficult to fully review these bids within the 90-day period that we try to make. And because of that, we have to ask the contractors for bid bond extensions. On this project in particular, we requested a bid bond extension for both Rice Lake and Innovative Construction. And unfortunately, they were not able to extend those bid bonds. So we requested that for the November 2nd expiration of the original bid bond. So unfortunately, like I mentioned, Rice Lake and Innovative were not able to extend those bonds, but our third low bidder, which is Murray Company, was able to extend their bid bond. So their bid bond will be good till February 18th. So because the two lower bidders are unable to continue their bid bonds, we are recommending award to the third low bidder, which is Murray Company. All three of these bids were below the city engineer's estimate by more than 30%. So the awarding to the third low bidder will not have an effect on the budget. As far as the city's business inclusion program, this project went out to bid with proposed levels of 4% MDE, 2% WBE, 25% SBE, 8% EBE, and 3% DVBE. Murray has pledged subcontractor participation levels for those categories of 0% MBE, 2.56% WBE, 10.82% SBE, 8.26 EBE, 0% DVBE, and 14.29% for other business enterprises or OBEs, for a total mandatory subcontractor minimum of 30.42%. This contract also is subject to the project labor agreement. Murray is a longtime partner with the city, working on multiple contracts for us, doing great work. And like I mentioned before, we would like to recommend the third low bidder, which is Murray Company, to be the lowest responsible bidder and award Murray the contract for this project. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about this report at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. All right, folks. This is a Advanced Water Purification Day. Let's start off with President Pro Tem Davis. You're muted, Mike.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Ethan, I think that was a great report, and it looks like in terms of the opportunities to expand economic experiences for some of our small and various businesses is there. So thank you for that report. And I have no questions, but just those comments. So thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Coloso.
Thank you, President Good. Thank you for your report, Mr. Wong. And nice to see you again, Mr. Gonzalez, as well. First, just want to note that, excited to see all these bids came in low for such a large project. I was really shocked to see, the one came in at 45% low, and then, of course, this one that you're recommending award for is still 34% low, which is always good news for the city. Since it came up on the last item, and I know that the identification of the funding source happened after we put this out to bid, can you confirm whether or not this is also, there's any federal funding sources for this award?
There are no federal sources for funds of sewer and maintenance.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit, Mr. Wong. Could you just repeat that? Or maybe it was my internet, but I think you froze, at least on my end.
Okay, no problem. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there are no federal funds to be used on this specific project. All of the funds will come from the city sewer construction and maintenance fund.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I don't have any other questions on this item then. That was the main one I had a question on, and thank you both for your work on this.
Thanks, Commissioner Coloso. Vice President Garcia?
Thank you, President Good. I don't have any questions on this item. I think it was fully well explained, and my colleagues have asked really good questions. So I'm comfortable with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. And Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. And I too appreciate the report. Thank you for that. Just a quick question. Since our bids are coming in low, were they done before, we had this inflation? How will we deal with that? Is it going to be taken care of in a contingency?
The bidder, the apparent low bidder at this time, is holding their bid price, so there won't be any increases for escalation at this time. They've agreed to hold their bid price.
Okay.
Commissioner, in regards to that question, I think that the fact that we have a temporary system that took all the ginks and all the glicks and the challenges, that helped a lot, because when EED hosted the walkabout tour with the potential bidders, they saw that pretty much the system is there. We just need to make it permanent.
Thank you for that. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Thank you for the excellent report, Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Wong. All very clear, all very critical, and again, exciting what we're seeing happening in terms of really taking all of our reclamation plants to another level. I don't have any other questions, reflection of y'all's excellent work on the report. I will take a motion, however, to move the item forward.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll take the motion from Commissioner Colosa and a second from Commissioner Villegas. Dr. Campos, you want to call roll?
Absolutely. We are voting on item number 10. There's been a motion by Commissioner Colosa, seconded by Commissioner Villegas. We'll start with the vote at this time. We'll start with President Good.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Colosa.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. Now you can go have a good weekend.
We're still here for 11.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So forgive, we are going to make a quick jump. So let's go, folks, to item 12. Item number 12. Everybody here, Dr. Campos? I think so.
Yes.
All right, policy number 813, interdepartmental memorandum of understanding, improving project planning and delivery in the public right of way. Recommending the board, 1, approve the execution of the interdepartmental MOU, improving project planning and delivery in the public right of way. 2, authorize the city engineer, inspector of public works, and directors of the bureaus of sanitation, street services, and street lighting to execute the interdepartmental MOU, improving project planning and delivery in the public right of way. And 3, request the general managers of the departments of city planning and transportation to execute the interdepartmental MOU, improving project planning and delivery in the public right of way. Colleagues, recall that we, and I can't remember when, not too long ago, approved the principles and the guidelines of this agreement. And this is the attendant or follow-up memorandum of understanding. And so I don't know who's presenting. Who is presenting?
Good morning, Commissioner Good, Commissioners Dr. Campos and Mr. Jordan. Julie Sauter.
Real quick before, so I got some answer or question answered. I just
yes.
So thank you. Real quick, I just want to ask: Is anyone from the mayor's office on here? If they, I wanted to make sure, see if they wanted to say anything in advance before we go into the presentation.
Mr. President, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, we do have members from the Mayor's Office on the line. However, none have expressed any commentary at this time. However, I can open up those communication lines if you'd like to ask.
I'll tell you what.
We are here from the Mayor's Office. If you'd like to raise your hand, if you would like to provide any commentary on item number 12, you can do so by raising your hand at this time.
Now, I would just say feel free. I think it looks like in their wisdom they recognize that Ms. Sauter and Tabuena, Ruddy, and Lau, and Gazarian are on the case. So, and I think Mr. Tam, I suspect as well. So, all right, Julie.
Well, Mr. President, we just actually had a hand raised, so
I'll go
ahead and invite Ali. I think you put pressure on them, so.
I didn't mean to, y'all. Sorry.
Ali
the mayor's office, along with the mayor's office, along with our bureaus, as well as the Department of Transportation, have worked really, really long and hard on this, and in collaboration, and deserve a lot of credit along with our bureaus. So.
Absolutely. We have Ali Castaneda. If you could just go ahead and turn on your video cam.
She has. Hi, Ms. Castaneda. How are you?
Hi. Yes. So sorry about that. We just wanted to take a moment from the mayor's office and say how grateful we are for, all of this work that we have put in, all of the departments and, the infrastructure and the transportation team, Jennifer McDowell and Dan Rodman have been vital in this effort, and they are listening. But so thank you so much, and we'll hand it off to our experts for presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Castaneda. All right, Julie.
Okay, well, thank you. I should say good afternoon, everyone. And we do have a presentation for you to go over the MOU. And I'm joined this afternoon with Rubina Gazarian from the Department of Transportation, as well as Anna Tobuena Ruddy from the Streets LA. However, before we start the presentation, I would like to just state into the record that this board action of this item is not subject to CEQA because it only involves adopting procedures for departments to coordinate on future projects, which is an organizational activity, and it has no possibility of causing a significant effect on the environment. Based on that, it is considered not a project under State CEQA Guidelines Section 15378B5, and it fits the common sense exemption in State CEQA Guidelines Section 15061B3. So with that, we can jump into our presentation. For this afternoon, what we're going to do is go over the Executive Directive 25, which is really an impetus for this effort on this MOU. We'll also go over chronology. I know a lot of people have been working on this effort, so just a refresher on what we've done leading up to today. And then we'll take a deeper dive for what really the MOU is accomplished or trying to accomplish. And lastly, we'll go over some projects that were really models and test case that informed the development of the MOU. So thank you for your patience and your endurance this afternoon. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rubina from Department of Transportation.
Thank you so much, Julie. And as brief background, Executive Directive 25, or LA's Green New Deal, tasked LADOT, Department of City Planning, and Department of Public Works in consultation with the Mayor's Office to prepare public right-of-way protocols. The protocols ensure that all departmental decisions support the reduction of vehicle miles traveled and greenhouse gas emissions, while also prioritizing safety, and also encourage fast and reliable, sustainable modes of transportation. The public right-of-way protocols that staff developed were adopted by the Board of Public Works in May of 2021. And are we seeing slides? I just wanted to ask before moving forward.
Sabina, this is
slides are
Fernando
not coming
Campos,
up.
Executive Officer. No, you are not sharing your slides at this time. Ms. Naish, if you can share your screen.
It's not allowing me to at the moment.
Okay. Are you dialing in remotely?
No, I'm not. Just 1 second, sorry.
There you go. Now we can see the shared screen.
Perfect. And I just covered slide 3, so maybe if we could go to slide 4, great. Perfect. And this is again, a brief background on the public right-of-way protocols, which were already adopted in May. The adopted public right-of-way protocols introduce both desired outcomes and guiding principles. And the desired outcomes will be achieved through project-level application of guiding principles and day-to-day decision-making. And those guiding principles include safe and reliable access for all, meaning all Angelinos must have ability to travel without disproportionate travel burden or likelihood of injury or fatality. This principle ensures that projects seeking BMT reducing designs improve both safety and sustainability. The second guiding principle is climate action. So climate action and adaptation strategies should be integrated into projects to ensure that Los Angeles is accessible to all, including future generations. Decisions about public right-of-way should prioritize comfort for sustainable transportation mode users who are most susceptible to extreme climate conditions, including heat, drought, and rising sea levels. And finally, equitable project planning and delivery. Designers, implementers, and maintainers of the public right-of-way should prioritize sustainable transportation and placekeeping investments in historically disadvantaged communities that contribute to community vitality by improving access to opportunity. The city must work with communities to guide decision-making around the public right-of-way in project planning, development, and implementation. Next slide, please. The challenge that this initiative intends to solve is complex, and you can see that in this graphic right here that covers the agencies that are responsible for construction in the public right-of-way. This graphic is from the Great Streets DIY Guide, and it shows just the multiple jurisdictions in the city of Los Angeles that are responsible for certain components of the streetscape. And on the following slide, we see a similar graphic, but this one covers maintenance in the public right-of-way. So this complex ecosystem is exactly why we need a ability to coordinate and plan for the public right-of-way improvements that are constructed and maintained in order to meet our city policy goals, including the public right-of-way protocols as a result of ED 25. And on the next slide, I'll just very quickly orient us as to where we are in this process. As we mentioned, in February 2020, Mayor Eric Garcetti signed Executive Directive 25, and following that, an interagency working group coordinated to draft and finalize the public right-of-way protocols, which were adopted by the Board of Public Works in May 2021. The working group continued to collaborate on the development of the interagency MOU to improve coordination and sharing of information to meet the desired outcomes of the public right-of-way protocols and build a world-class public right-of-way system. Next slide, please. The working group of staff collaborated to create this document, which was truly an interdepartmental effort. And as such, the MOU includes leads supporting and coordinating departments to represent how agencies interact with the public right-of-way. Lead departments manage and deliver infrastructure improvements within the public right-of-way, and those agencies include the Bureau of Engineering, the Bureau of Sanitation, Bureau of Street Services, Bureau of Street Lighting, and LADOT. Supporting departments do not generally manage the construction of public infrastructure improvements, but frequently work in the public right-of-way or support public improvements. And those departments include Department of City Planning, Bureau of Contract Administration, and Department of Water and Power. And finally, coordinating departments coordinate with lead and supporting departments, but do not generally manage or directly support the construction of public infrastructure improvements. And those include the Office of Community Beautification, Office of City Forest Management, Climate Emergency Mobilization Office, Department of Cultural Affairs, Department of Disability, Los Angeles Fire Department, Los Angeles Police Department, and the Department of Rec and Parks. So with that overview, I will now pass it back to Julie to walk us through the contents of the interagency MOU. Thank you. Julie, you may be on mute.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So just a little bit more detail on the MOU. For the four main goals, as you saw on our last slide, that there's a lot of different departments and bureaus that operate in the public right-of-way. So one of the main goals of the MOU is really to identify the roles and responsibility of these different departments and bureaus, especially with respect to capital projects. And so that was one of the main goals. Another was to strengthen the coordination, and by which, efficiency and accountability will be also strengthened. The MOU also outlines processes and streamline work programs so that we have better synchronization as we work in the public right-of-way. And lastly, one of the big things, especially identified in ED 25, is really identifying all of the multi-benefit projects and uses that we have. So next slide. So of course, when you have a lot of departments and a lot of bureaus and a lot of people, one of the main things we need is oversight, right? As we do in the work that we do for the city. So the MOU created an oversight committee, and on the committee will be representatives from the mayor's office, city administrative office, the Board of Public Works, and our partner departments. The committee will be meeting quarterly to ensure that the MOU is being adhered to. Also coordination and just sharing what the different departments and projects are doing for the MOU. For the next slide, please. So one of the key items for the MOU is data sharing. So all of our different departments and bureaus, they manage their projects within their agency. One of the key parts of the MOU is really to be able to share all of this information. What we're doing is we're leveraging the public way reservation system to be able to have that transparency and that communication and that coordination. So again, all of the bureaus, they don't actually have to create a new system. We will just be tapping into their existing databases and using the public way reservation system as a clearinghouse. Another key element of the MOU is really being able to get the coordination going at the very early stages of the project. When we're talking about conception and scoping and initiation, that's where the work starts, or a lot of the heavy lifting starts in coordinating with our partner department and bureaus. But it just doesn't stop at that concept stage. It also carries through the typical project delivery process. So as we go through the planning and the definition, the launching and the execution of the project, we will have regular check-ins through our committee, but also with the MOU MOU instructions and process to coordinate throughout the life cycle of a project. So next, what I would like to do, I'm going to hand it over to Anna, and she's really going to go over some projects that really informed and were pilot models that we created the MOU around. So with that, I'll hand it over to Anna.
Thanks, Julie. You've all just heard some details on the interagency MOU. We'd like to now share what successful interagency coordination looked like through 4 project examples. The first project example is 5th and 6th Street. During the COVID-19 Safer at Home and Safe LA orders, Streets LA launched the ADAPT program, targeting typically busy streets for resurfacing. As ADAPT launched, the Mayor's Office convened Streets LA, Metro, and LA DOT to identify potential multi-benefit projects. And with the support of CD14, departments partnered to successfully scope and deliver a project that included not only resurfacing, but peak hour bus lanes and grant-funded Class 4 protected bike lanes. These were all completed in the summer of 2020 after community engagement activities. On the next slide is the next project example on Avalon Boulevard, which is a project over 6 miles long and was developed as a joint effort between BOE's Complete Streets program and LADOT's Vision Zero program. BOE, LADOT, and Streets LA project managers, along with design and construction teams, found new ways to work together. LADOT found value in BOE's Pedestrian Refuge Island program, especially in bringing safety elements to Vision Zero projects. Similarly, LADOT found value in Streets LA's nimble construction teams. Construction for this project is estimated to be completed in winter 2022. On the next slide, the third project example is the Great Streets Initiative, which was the very first executive directive signed by Mayor Garcetti back in 2013. The initiative aims to energize public space, provide economic revitalization, increase public safety, enhance local culture, and support great neighborhoods. As of today, Great Streets is in its 3rd project cycle phase and has completed 22 projects with 6 that are in the works. The program requires departments operating within the public right-of-way to work closely with each project's community partners to implement the improvements they envisioned. So far, the Great Streets project has involved Department of City Planning, LADOT, BOE, Streets LA, and Bureau of Street Lighting. On the next slide, our last project example is Broadway South, nearly 3 miles long along Manchester Avenue and South Broadway in South LA. As envisioned by the community, the project will provide active transportation, urban greening, and stormwater capture improvements. The project was initiated in 2015 with Streets LA partnering with Council District 8, LADOT, and community partners to develop a plan for these corridors. LADOT and Streets LA collaborated to deliver a Vision Zero project that would help provide near-term safety improvements on this high-injury corridor. At the same time, Streets LA was successful in obtaining an ATP grant and DOT and infra grant to fund active transportation improvements. In order to realize the rest of the community's vision for urban greening and stormwater capture, Streets LA also pursued and obtained an urban greening grant, and in partnership with sanitation was successful in obtaining a Measure W grant for stormwater improvements. Streets LA continues to this day working with LADOT, sanitation, street lighting, as well as Metro and DWP for the design and construction of the project, which is scheduled to be completed in 2026. So these 4 project examples embody successful interagency coordination, and it's the goal of the MOU to formalize these types of coordination and replicate more of these types of projects citywide. So to wrap up, we'd like to thank once more all our agency partners as well as the Mayor's Office for their contribution to this MOU document. And if there are any questions, we are ready.
Thank you, Ms. Tabuena-Ruddy, Ms. Sauter, Ms. Gazarian, and Ms. Laos here on the item. Thank you all so much, and Ms. Castaneda as well. Dr. Campos, can we go ahead and close down the presentation so we have the full gallery view, and then we'll open this up for comments and questions. I'll start with Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. I appreciate this work that has been going on in the background for the past couple of months, or maybe more than that. There's a lot of great benefits to this partnership. I mean, we reduce resources, which is really important. We reduce staff time, which is also very important given the time that we spend on planning, designing, and so forth. And we also improve the design in the public right-of-ways in a lot of areas. A lot of times we at the board get these projects at the very end of the town. There's not much we can say or we can do, or how, we were appointed to be stewards of the city and our public right-of-way streets. And so sometimes when these designs has gone on so far off or so far ahead, we don't have a way to make any changes or just add anything that we would want to see. But given the fact that now this is going to be interdepartmental coordination, it seems like that piece of it might be reduced for us and for the department. So I appreciate that. I do just have one quick question. I'm very comfortable with the language on the MOU, also on everything else, but how will we ensure that this collaboration stays throughout time? There's a lot of changes in staff. All of you might get promotions. I don't know. Anna Rudy, becomes I don't know, mayor of the city. I don't know. So what happens when you guys move from your positions, and how do we ensure that this collaboration continues in peace? And that's to anyone. I know that so this is part of it. Like, who will answer, based on it's a collaboration, who gets the lead on that?
No, that's a great question, Commissioner. And I think one of the things that was implemented or identified in the MOU was the creation of this oversight committee. And it's not just a particular person. It's not Anna or it's not Rubina. It's actually the entity. So there's going to be representatives from the departments, but also from our partners, which is, the mayor's office and the CAO and even the Board of Public Works. So your voice and input will be heard, but it is with the departments and the bureaus and not an individual.
Good. I wanted to make sure we do that. And so whoever stays on inherits also this duty to make sure that the collaboration continues for every entity. That's really important.
And in addition, in addition to the committee, which is one of the main points of the MOU, there are specific project agreements. So these are living documents that will be memorialized. So if there is a project that comes up that one department is initiating and they collaborate with the other partners, there will be a project agreement, and that will memorialize what the agreements are, so it doesn't disappear when someone wins a mega bucks or the lotto and walks off with it. That document will maintain the consistency throughout the life of the project. So sorry, go ahead, Commissioner or Person.
No problem. I apologize for interrupting. I just thought I'd interject something also. First of all, I hope everyone wins megabucks. So good thinking there, Julie. But two, Vice President Garcia, I think actually, because I was thinking the same thing as reading it, but then it kind of occurred to me, by virtue of us approving this MOU, we are establishing the tenets of this MOU as at least relative to the department and the bureaus as policy. So it will have the force of policy, regardless of who the humans are and how many of us get rich. So, so I think that actually gets to that too. So
I agree, but I thank you for that. I just wanted to state because it's so important that we, given the times we're in, there's going to be transfers, right? There's going to be a transition happening. And so I just want to make sure that this partnership and this coordination efforts withstands that transition. That was really my point to this. So thank you for that. We're all good.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia, very much. President Pro Tem Davis. You're on mute, Mike.
No questions for me on this one.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Commissioner Closa.
Thank you, President Good. Thank you to everyone who worked on this. I'd like to note that it's, we can see from our screen, it's been a predominantly women-led initiative, which is very exciting to see so many strong females on the screen who led this very complex and complicated effort. I'm sure people in the public are like, why do you need to sign an MOU with each other? And that's because there's so many projects going on simultaneously in the public right away. You know, especially right now, this is critical more than ever as we see more opportunities for funding through the infrastructure bill. We know that hopefully, fingers crossed, Los Angeles will get a fair share of those dollars, and that means that even greater coordination is needed to really maximize the funding that we get, and it's really to the public's benefit. I guess it's really what I want to focus on, and some of my follow-up questions is really like the public benefit, the public good that we can get from this type of work. It's one that memorializes this beyond any of us here on the board. It's going to be, I think, a really good, you know, shows the workflow for how things should be reviewed and vetted across different agencies, and really breaking down those silos, which is really important. And then I know back to the public benefit piece, as I know you all mentioned the project management database, and I know this is available online right now, but I know sometimes we get a lot of public comment about projects happening that maybe neighborhood councils don't know about, that certain community groups don't know about. So would one of you mind sharing the website link to verbally with the public here? I know it's up now. I have it up. I'm happy to share it, but just wanted to give you all an opportunity to make a plug for the public way reservation system. I don't know if that's for you, Ms. Sauter.
Yeah. Let me, as soon as I pull up that actual link, I can go ahead and drop it in.
Or if you just want to say it verbally for folks who might be listening in, since we don't have that function.
It is a public way reservation system. And it's available through Navigate LA and the Bureau of Engineering.
Great.
And so what we're going to be doing is, with this effort through the MOU, we will be leveraging the existing reservation system and adding additional layers to it that will reflect the work that we're doing as a group or collectively under this MOU.
Got it. And so the public-facing site that's available now, that's not yet reflected of the projects that we're going to be coordinating under this MOU.
Yeah, not at this moment, but it will. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, and so it's navigatela.lacity.org, and there's a specific link there for the public way reservation system. And I say that link because I don't think it was noted in the board materials, and I just say that because I know for the public who they may be looking for, how do we view, you know, this public database with these projects? That's how they can access it to really learn more, because I think it'll be a really valuable resource, not just for the public, but for us as a board when we're going through these projects and approving them. Let me see. Was there, can you also, and you might have mentioned this, can somebody mention how long this agreement is for? Is there like a renewal period? Just curious when you all revisit, when it's time to make any amendments or changes to the MOU.
That's right. There is no end date in the MOU, because we hope this coordination and this the wonderful coordination that we've all started together will continue beyond even our tenors, as we've talked about previously. But There is information in the MOU about when updates are needed, and that there would be provisions for there are provisions for the MOU Oversight Committee in terms of updating the MOU, ensuring that it's keeping up with the various different information that we want to share with each other, or if there's needed amendments to the project agreements or any of the attachments. So that's all covered in the MOU, as we know that it may need to be updated over time.
Got it. And I know the board is referenced here a few times as well in the MOU. How will the new oversight committee work with the board as you all start to convene and look at projects?
The Board of Public Works will be one agency represented on the committee. So that is one connection that we'll have between the work that we're collaborating on through the committee and the MOU and the Board of Public Works. But the owner of the project will be the individual department. So say that it is a DOT-led project, they would go through their normal authorization and approval process. And conversely, if there is a project with Bureau of Street Services, they would go through their normal authorization and approval process for those projects. I think you bring up a good point that as part of the approval process, we can identify or include in the language that it has gone through the MOU and the committee as part of its getting to a delivery point.
I think that would be really helpful, especially for projects that you start to review, if it's maybe notated somewhere like in the board report.
Correct.
Kind of like what we do for other approvals like project review committee, when we know that things have been vetted through certain oversight boards. So that might be a really good way to integrate this in the Bureau. I think every single general manager in our department signed this. So that would be a good recommendation. And I don't think I have any other questions on this, but just great job to everyone here, and of course to the mayor's office for their involvement on this. Thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing this forward to us today, and such good work and coordination that's going to be needed. I won't echo some of the same comments that Commissioner Calosa said, but I'm really looking forward to getting this off the ground and launching it. And really appreciate just all the bureaus really coming together and being able to have agreement to be able to really enhance our public right-of-way and really coordinate that effort. I just wanted to, speak up for the truffula trees, right? Any trees that we have on our public right-of-way. As the oversight forms and when they, meet, if you can consider just, when you're identifying any potential projects, if you can just really look into like any existing or mature trees to the extent that we can, keep them and put and preserve them. I would just, like to see if the oversight committee can, in their authority of making any kind of either checklist or anything like that, if you can just include that as part of the just direction and edicts for your oversight committee. That would be just a suggestion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
If that's at all possible.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner, yes, we will consider. That's one of the items that I think Streets LA is very glad that we're bringing trees to the forefront now at the beginning of the project and looking at that as well as maintenance. So we definitely have that on our checklist. Thank you for that, Commissioner.
Yeah, keeping, as we're just making improvements on our public right of way, just really, taking a little bit more, care and see how we can do either like a workaround or anything like that, just on existing and, trees that we may have.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And congratulations, everyone. This is great work. And to the mayor's office as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Yeah, congratulations on the front end. A couple of different things. One, I just want to speak to a long, almost axiomatic trope, which is that the city and so many public entities are so prone to siloization and just operating and existing within silos and within with departments and bureaus operating in their own echo chambers. My 10-ish years in the city has shown that to be true in some situations. I suspect not everyone here would disagree. And that underscores to me the value add and the utility, not only of this work, but of the effort on the part of the bureaus and the Department of Transportation and the mayor's office to break through those walls. And I think that that's really exciting, and it's really compelling work. I want to echo also Commissioner Close's point that, and I don't think it's an irrelevant point, that this is mostly so apologies to Daniel Rodman if you're out there, mostly a women warrior-led endeavor, and including Jennifer Pope McDowell and Mary Hodge and all the team over there in the mayor's office of city services who are being shy, and all of the folks over there from the city services transportation team, the infrastructure team, the public works team. I know they've all been deeply engaged, and it's really great. So I'm excited that this got to the finish line at this point in this very transformative year that we all know is coming. And so there's that. One, two, I just want to flag, I think Dr. Williams had asked to speak on the item, but he's no longer on the Zoom. Is that correct, Dr. Campos?
That is correct. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Mr. President, that is correct. Dr. Tom Williams, caller ending in 682, is no longer on the line, but just for the record, he did submit a speaker card for this item.
Okay. Sorry, Dr. Williams, if you're out there. And then also just want to actually check with Mr. Jordan. Ms. Souter's opening explication of the CEQA element of this, which is actually not articulated in the report. Ted, do you feel like we need to make an amendment to actually put something in, or is it sufficient on the record?
I think it's sufficient on the record.
Okay, good enough for me, sir. All right, then, well done, ladies, and a couple of gentlemen. And very much look forward to seeing this play out. I would actually ask that maybe, I think quarterly is too much. I think asking folks to do quarterly reports is an added challenge. I would ask that some iteration of this group do a biannual report back, not forever, because this will become part of the fabric of how we do things, which is what's so exciting. And I think, Rubina, you pointed out the fact that this was very intentionally doesn't have the sunset on it. So I don't necessarily think you need to do this forever, but I'd say for at least a couple of years, it would be great to have biannual report backs, as much as anything, to just tell the board, particularly, candidly, if it's a new board. Sorry? How it's working, right? And what the challenges are. And it could be that there are things that we need to continue to evolve with this. I think that would be fair and appropriate. And so including the board, which will be part of the oversight committee, but also in that collaborative process, I think will be beneficial to all the bureaus and departments, but also to the department writ large. Exciting stuff, folks. Way to bust down walls. And thank you for your sort of pit bull persistence in getting this thing done. It's really exciting. So I'll motion to move this forward. I knew I'd have no problem with a second. President Pro Tem Davis with a second. Dr. Campos, I'll tell you, we will, if approved, move this forward forthwith. So why don't you take roll call?
Absolutely. This is for item number 12. We'll start with you, President Good.
Aye, with an exclamation point.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Caloza.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. And as stated by the chair, yes, absolutely.
And I think I failed to mention Rebecca Rasmussen, who I know is heavily involved. I'm sure Doug Mensman did a little bit on the side. I love you, Doug. And whoever else I'm missing in the mayor's office, and in all the bureaus, thank you all for the great work. Congratulations. Have great weekends, and we'll talk to you all on the other side. Look forward to the first report back. Okay, colleagues, let's take another 5-minute recess, and we will return. It's 1:08. Sorry, Fernando out there. Sorry, Ethan. We will get we'll get to 11, but let's return back at 1:13 in the PM. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay, Mr. President, we have recording on both systems. Would you like me to reestablish quorum?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you, sir. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Reestablishing quorum. It's at 1:18 p.m. We have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioners Caloza and Villegas. Mr. President, you do have a quorum.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. All right, let's start off right now with item number 11. Item number 11 is a contract award, J.F. Shea Construction, Inc., Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant Preliminary Treatment Improvement CIP 4185, our third water reclamation plant project. Recommending the board, one, declare Caliagua, Inc. and Myers & Son Construction, LLC, the respective apparent and third low bidders to be non-responsive as discussed in this report. 2, declare J.F. Shea Construction, Inc., J.F. Shea, the apparent fourth low bidder that became the second low bidder after the local business preference was applied to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award J.F. Shea a contract for this project for $8,196,000. And 3, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Work order SZL 11231. Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Wong, Ms. Fuelas, I see y'all here. Please proceed.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Fernando Gonzalez, Water Reclamation Division Manager, Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment. Good afternoon this time, Mr. President, Commissioners, Legal Counsel, and Executive Officer. In 1976, the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant started operations as the first water reclamation plant in the city. The cities of Los Angeles and Glendale co-own the plant, and the City of Los Angeles and Sanitation and Environment operates and maintains it. Each city pays 50% of the cost and receives equal share of the recycled water. The plant processes about 20 million gallons of wastewater and turn them into reclaimed water. The plant is in much need of upgrades to refurbish our aging infrastructure. In this occasion, we are addressing the influent plant pumps, variable frequency drives, control valves, and actuators with integration with the distributed control systems for full automation. Once again, our partners in the Bureau of Engineering will deliver all the improvements for the Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant. So for the third time today, making a third appearance, that will be my friend, Ethan Wong, with the Environmental Engineering Division, Bureau of Engineering, to provide further details on the bid award for your consideration. Ethan?
Once again, thank you, Fernando. Appreciate that. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody now. This is Ethan Wong with the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division. So as Fernando mentioned, the project entails mostly the installation of new pumps to replace the aging infrastructure at the plant. So we'll be replacing influent pumps, grid pumps, providing access platforms and bypasses. As Fernando mentioned, also upgrading the instrumentation and controls so that it can be integrated into the overall distributed control system. We'll also be replacing it at a 51-inch diameter piping header, as well as installing a valve vault with the 51-inch diameter isolation valve. And then we will also be taking care of, because of the facility's age, lead and asbestos abatement. The contract duration is scheduled to be 460 calendar days. This project, we are recommending the award to the fourth bidder, which is JF Shea. We did receive 7 bids on this project on July 21st, 2021. The city engineer's estimate for this project was $7,616,000. All bids came in over the city engineer's estimate. As mentioned in the recommendations, 2 of the bidders were found to be non-responsive, and this is due to not meeting the mandatory subcontractor minimum for the project, which was 25%. There is also an application of the local business preference program on this project. So 2 of the 4 low bidders are local business enterprises, Myers & Son and JF Shea. So they received an 8% percentage in dictating, or discount percentage in dictating the bid order. This doesn't alter the overall price of their bids, just the order that they are recognized. So with the local business preference applied, Myers & Son became the low bidder, and JF Shea became the second low bidder. Because Myers & Son did not meet the mandatory subcontractor minimum for the project, they are deemed unresponsive, and therefore we are recommending award to JF Shea on this project. This project was bid with the anticipated participation levels of subcontractors in the business inclusion program of 4% MBE, 2% WBE, 25% SBE, 8% EBE, and 3% DVBE. The pledge levels by JF Shea are 6.02% MBE, which is above the pledge level, 0.06% WBE, 6.83% SBE, 5.93% EBE, and 0% DVBE. And this project also incorporates a project labor agreement. And with that, I'd just like to conclude by stating that JF Shea has worked successfully with the city on several projects, and based on the review of their bid, we recommend them to be awarded this contract as the lowest responsible bidder. Be happy to answer any questions about the report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. All right. Start off with Commissioner Closa.
Thank you, President Good. Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Wong. Nice to see you here again, Mr. Gonzalez. I don't have any questions on this item. I'm sad that some of the lower bids didn't end up getting the award, but we have our goals for subcontracting, and they didn't meet those, unfortunately. So just sad that they weren't able to meet them in order to get the contract, especially since I know that one of the lower bids, I should say, is an MBE themselves. So, but I don't have any other questions on this. I think the board report was really detailed, and you gave a really good report on this, Mr. Wong. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Coloso. President Pro Tem Davis?
No questions for me on the decision and the process explained. What do we think it will take us in terms of time before we're able to move forward with the construction of the project and the implementation of the project?
We estimate after the award of the project, it'll take roughly 30 days for the contractor to submit their bonds and insurance to the city before notice to proceed will be issued.
Okay, and any project labor agreement on this project?
Yes, there is a project labor agreement as part of this project.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Vice President Garcia?
Thank you, President Good. I don't have any questions on this item. I think it was fully well explained. Thank you, President Good.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Commissioner Villegas?
Thank you. I don't have any questions either. Thank you for your report, Mr. Wong and Mr. Gonzalez. Thanks.
Yeah, and thank you as well. Excellent report, excellent briefing, and I have no further questions. Again, critical work on our water reclamation plants. It's exciting that we're getting so much done on our reclamation plants, and so this is going to be crucial and important. So I will take a motion to move the item forward.
So moved.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, 2 seconds. Garcia and Colosa. Dr. Campos, will you please take roll?
Absolutely. We'll start with you, Mr. President.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Colosa.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider item number 11 to go forth with?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. Thank you, Mr. Wong. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Now you are finally free to go. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, have a great day, y'all. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's go now to item 13. We have a Marina Quinones sighting here. Excellent. Hello, Ms. Quinones. So item 13, revised task order solicitation number 067 and budget increase, Gonzalez Goodell Architects, Inc., recommending the board authorize the issuance of a revision of TOS number 067 to GGA, increasing the budget authority by $700,000 from $1 million to $1,700,000 for the homeless housing under the Shelter and Housing Program, C-124803. Hi, Ms. Quinones, tell us all about it.
Hello, good afternoon, President Good, Commissioners. Marina Quinones, Bureau of Engineering. Our motion number 4 seeks to increase our authority by an additional $700,000 from existing task order solicitation 67 with Gonzalez and Goodell Architects Previous authority was granted in July 2020, was for a not to exceed amount of $1 million. The services to date have exceeded 900,000. GGA has been involved in 17 projects and definitely has been valuable in augmenting city staff. Though the homeless program is exempt from the business inclusion program, GGA has consistently worked with sub-consultants who are minority and women-led enterprises. The program is still tracking a few sites in design and feasibility. There is a possibility that we will be adding additional sites excuse me, to the program. City Council approved CAO's request on December 11, 2021 to appropriate $700,000 in the Engineering Special Fund. This will bring the total authority for TOS 67 to 1.7 million. This concludes my report. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Ms. Quinones. I'll start with Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you, and thank you for your report, Ms. Quinones. I don't have any questions. Very thorough. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Sorry. President Pro Tem Davis.
No inquiries from me on this item.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner or Vice President Garcia.
No questions from me on this item either. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Calosa.
Thank you, President Good. I don't have any questions on this item. GGA is providing some critical services to us to help with all these homeless housing solutions that we have that BOE is helping lead to design. And also just want to give a quick moment to embarrass Ms. Quinones a little bit. We featured her recently in our Women Build LA series, which focuses on highlighting women in construction and engineering and some of these non-traditional roles that we don't see as many women in. And we featured her recently, and she talked a little bit about her work leading this program. So just wanted to highlight you and all your work, Ms. Quinones, and thank you for this.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Calosa. That's awesome. Congratulations on that. And I don't have any further questions. You continue to do great work, Ms. Quinones. Thank you very much for the report. I will take a motion to move the item forward.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Calosa. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Dr. Campos, would you like to take roll call, please?
Absolutely. There's been a motion by Commissioner Calosa, seconded by Commissioner Garcia to adopt item number 13. We'll start the vote at this time. We'll start with you, Mr. President.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Calosa.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to move this forward forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Quinones. And you have a great weekend, okay?
Thank you, all of you as well. Bye-bye.
All right. So that brings us to item number 14. Item number 14 is an authority for expenditure. State Water Resource Control Board, Bureau of Sanitation, and Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $12,750, new adjusted amount of $26,250 to pay for the annual renewal fee for Environmental Monitoring Division's Environmental Laboratory Accreditation Program Certificate for Water Reclamation Plant Laboratories. AE 227-60208M, Fund Number 760, Sewer Operations and Maintenance Fund, Department Number 50, Appropriation Unit 50VX82. Mr. Pujari is with us today. Hello, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, President Good and all commissioners. Well, I am just coming here to request for approval for the fees to be paid to State Water Board. As you know, the Environmental Monitoring Division of LA Sanitation and Environment has 4 laboratories, and one at Hyperion, other is Terminal Island, and DCT and LAG. And we operate independently to comply with the NPDES permit issued by the State Water Board. And as these laboratories are operate independently, they get their certificate independently. To maintain the certificate, we have to pay them the annual fees. And I'm here to request you, the annual fee we paid for the LAG, DCT, and TI laboratory, and they are $4,250 each, and in amount is amounting to 12,000 some $50. But however, we have already paid the Hyperion fee already, and all together under the same AE, it will be $26,250. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bajari. Any questions, colleagues? All right. I'll motion to move the item forward. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Dr. Campos, can we take roll, please?
Absolutely. We'll start with you, Mr. President.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Caloza.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion to adopt item 14 has been approved and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forward?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
I'm going to email over to you proclamations for this man who died. It'll be
You're not on mute, Mike.
I'll send it over to you.
Okay, folks. Let's move to item 15. Item 15 is finding to continue teleconference meetings pursuant to Assembly Bill AB 361, recommending the board adopt the finding and determination in accordance with AB 361, Section 3E3, that while the state of emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic, as originally proclaimed by the governor on March 4, 2020, remains active, and or state or local officials have imposed or recommended measures to promote social distancing, this legislative body has reconsidered the circumstances of the state of emergency, and that the state of emergency continues to directly impact the ability of the members to meet safely in person, and or state or local officials continue to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing. I will motion to continue our teleconference meetings and to approve the item. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll take seconds from Villegas and Davis. Dr. Campos, you want to take roll call, please?
Absolutely. We'll start with you, Mr. President.
Aye.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Caloza.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this to go forthwith?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Okay, my understanding is item 17, Dr. Campos, needs to be continued. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. President. We
There's a
request
request.
that item 17 be continued to Wednesday, February 9th, 2022.
Okay, let's do that, and then let's move to item 16, which is a status update on major upcoming street improvement projects from the Bureau of Street Services. Who's with us from Street Services?
Mr. Paul Bingaman. Mr.
Hey, Mr. Bingaman, how are you?
Video cam for us.
I'm well. I'm well. How are you, President Good?
Good to see you, Mr. Bingaman.
So, well, good afternoon, President Good, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney, Executive Officers. My name is Paul Bingaman, Superintendent with Streets LA, and this information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays to the commuters. Streets LA would like to provide you with an update on all major street improvement projects. The following major street projects are scheduled for Metro and Valley resurfacing regions during the week of January the 23rd through January 29th. Saturday, January 22nd through Sunday, January 23rd, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we will cold mill and pave Yosemite Drive from Townsend Ave to Eagle Rock Boulevard in CD 14 Eagle Rock Neighborhood Council Pavement Preservation Program Fund. On Wednesday, January 26th through Friday, February 4th, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we will cold mill and pave Vineland Avenue from Valerio Street to Sherman Way in CD2, Sun Valley Area Neighborhood Council and Pavement Preservation Program Fund. Additionally, we will provide an update on our 21-22 Pavement Preservation Program. During the week of January 23rd through January 29th, the Metro and Valley regions will complete 18 projects for a total of 11.38 lane miles. Press releases were broadcast and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council district offices to assist with the outreach to stakeholders, and we have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on the Streets LA website. And for additional information or concerns, you can contact Sherrod Nichols at 213-847-3200. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bingaman. Any questions, colleagues? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Bingaman.
Thank you for sticking around.
Yeah, thanks for hanging in there.
No problem. Thank you.
Dr. Campos, I know we have a special agenda. Do we need to adjourn this meeting and then reestablish, correct?
That is correct. And just to confirm, you have cleared the deck for the regular agenda.
All right, thank you. So this regular agenda for Friday, January 21st, 2022, this meeting is adjourned. We will now convene a special meeting of the Board of Public Works Friday, January 21st, 2022. And Dr. Campos, can you please establish, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see y'all. Dr. Campos, can you please establish quorum for us?
Absolutely. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing quorum for this special agenda. It's 1:43 p.m. in the afternoon. We have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioners Caloza and Villegas. Mr. President, you do have a quorum. At this time, we do not have any callers on the line for public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comments section. Mr. President, there's also been a request on special agenda item number 3 to be continued to Friday, February 11th, 2022 by the Bureau of Sanitation to prepare for the stormwater capture report.
Okay. I am fine unless anybody objects with the continuation of item 3. And then let's go ahead and take the minutes from Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, which were continued from Friday, January 14th, 2022. I will motion to approve the minutes from Wednesday, December 15th, 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Got a second from Villegas and Garcia. Any concerns or objections from Caloza or Davis?
None from me.
All right. The minutes from December 15th, 2021 are adopted and approved forthwith. Next up, we have a status update on major upcoming street improvement projects from the Bureau of Street Services that was scheduled for January 14th, 2022. I suspect Mr. Bingaman is here on this one as well. Paul?
You would be correct.
All right, sir.
Okay, so again, good afternoon, President Good, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorneys, and Executive Officers. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects and minimize the impact on the community as well as delays to commuters. Streets LA would like to provide you with an update on all major upcoming street improvement projects. The following major street projects are scheduled for the Metro and Valley resurfacing regions during the week of January 16th through January 22nd, 2022. Friday, January 14th through Friday, January 21st, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. we will cold mill and pave Latuna Canyon Road from Wildwood Fire Road to Elbin Avenue in CD7 Foothill Trails District Neighborhood Council Pavement Preservation Program Fund. Additionally, we will provide an update on our 21-22 pavement preservation program. That is, during the week of January 16th through January 22nd, the Metro region will complete 17 projects for a total of 17.54 lane miles. Press releases were broadcast, notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council district offices and to assist with the outreach to stakeholders, and we have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available at the Streets LA website. For any information or concerns, you can contact Sherrod Nichols again at 213-847-3200.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bingaman. Any questions for Mr. Bingaman?
None for me.
All right. Thank you, sir. You have a great weekend, okay? Appreciate the
All right. Thank you
appreciate
very
the
much.
reports. All right. Thank you so much. All right, that's Campos. I believe that clears the decks for special agenda, correct?
That is correct, yes.
All right. So then this special agenda for January 21, 2022 is now adjourned. Thank you all so much. Colleagues, I have to go to a budget meeting with the CAO, so Vice President Garcia will lead the management team meeting. I will defer to her on how long of a bathroom or food break you get.
I would say let's just go through it.
Not as nice as me, but you know, hey, have a great weekend. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Bye.
If you could, guys, just hang on until we clear